What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 7HH Chapter 186 Senju, Uchiha, Hyuga's strongest power, third more seeking subscription. Beyond me and Hashirama? Black Zetsu's words made Uchiha Madara raise her brows. He didn't believe that such a strong man could be born in this peaceful era. But Black Zetsu, as his own body of will, was so jealous. In addition, the current situation is indeed far beyond my imagination. It seems to be really cautious. Who are the remaining 5 beasts that have not yet been captured? Uchiha Madara asked inwardly. Sand Shinobi's one-tailed Gaara, Cloud Shinobi's two-tailed 2 are composed of wooden golem, Mist Shinobi's 5 tails Kagaya Kimimaro, Cloud Shinobi's 8 tails Killer Bee, and Konoha's 9 tails Uzumaki Naruto. Black Zetsu quickly explained. After so many years, the efficiency is still so low, useless kid. Uchiha Madara cursed inwardly, got up and took a step, turning his back to Senju Hashirama at the back left and said. Although I really want to play with you, Hashirama, but in the Impure World reincarnation form, you can't use all your strengths before you were alive, and I still have things to do, so let's use your power for the time being. Senju Hashirama frowned displeased and wanted to shoot Uchiha Madara, asking him what he wanted to do. However, in a short while, Senju Hashirama felt that his body was totally disobedient. The hands were suddenly closed, and the majestic chakra swept across the battlefield like a tsunami and landslide. This is too exaggerated? Is this the power of the ninja god? What technique does he use? Although the Ninja Alliance army has an overwhelming advantage in number. But in the face of Chakra, who has clearly surpassed human limits, no, even surpassed the tail beast. They were all pale and frightened. Wood style. The tree world is born. Trees and vines with a diameter of more than a few meters gush out of the soil madly at a growth rate that surpasses all things in the world. In less than 2 seconds before and after, the dry land was turned into a forest. Sharingan's boss stared at Zai's left eye. This is too exaggerated, right? More than 99% of the ninjas at the scene also showed the same expression. Change the terrain completely with one move. Is this the true strength of God of Ninja World? Advertisement, be careful, then. The voice of 8 Tails echoed in Killer Bee's mind. First Hokage's wood style, like Mangekyo Sharingan, is the nemesis of the tail beast. A white shadow suddenly rushed out, blocking the turbulent sea of trees. The moment before he was about to be hit, he rotated his body sharply, forming a giant energy ball that was half black and half 100. Yin and Yang revolving heaven. The sea of trees used for tumbling, at the moment it hits it, turns into a child powder that cannot be seen with the naked eye, and disappears between the heavens and the earth. It's like the dust of Onoki, however, it seems to be different. Seeing his tree world birth is blocked, Senju Hashirama showed excitement instead, and said with joy. Oh, is it blocking my tree world birth? That resembles the revolving heaven of the Hyuga clan, but it's different. After the rotation stopped, Hinata put on the Hamura gentle fist starting pose, facing Senju Hashirama, and said inwardly. It's an exaggerated attack range. This is the strength of Mr. First Hokage. If I want to release his Impure World reincarnation, I must first destroy his body. Seeing Hinata dispelling the wood style of the old friend with the revolving heaven he had never seen before, Uchiha Madara's eyes closed tightly and said to himself. I haven't seen revolving heaven, what's the matter with those eyes? It's different from Hyuga's Byakugan. Black Zetsu's voice rang in Uchiha Madara's ear again. That's Tenseigan, Madara-sama, who is the same as Sage of Six Paths' younger brother Otsutsuki Hamura, and has the same power as Rinnegan. Tenseigan. It was the first time I heard that if it wasn't for the tight time now, I would like to try the power of those eyes. Uchiha Madara murmured with interest. In the next instant, a trigeminal kunai flew in front of Uchiha Madara. With strong pupil power, Uchiha Madara will be helpless if he raises his hand at will. And after discovering the charm on this special kunai grip, Uchiha Madara's face changed slightly, which reminded him of Senju Tobirama's Flying Thunder God, which he hated most. Ninjutsu that killed his brother. In an instant, the dark gray Susanoo flashed out, and from a bayonet several meters in length, it pierced straight into Uchiha Madara's heart. Clang! It sounded like a metal collision. The dark blue rib shield, covering the surface of Uchiha Madara's body, helped him block this move. Advertisement -0 seeking flowers. Zero Onoki exclaimed. To Susanoo. Taste, after all. Uchiha Madara just created a protective cover, which was cut off by Susanoo, the second form of Uchiha Spring. After a stalemate for about 2 seconds, there was a crisp cracking sound. However, Uchiha Madara's expression was as indifferent as before, looking at the little girl who almost ate herself with Flying Thunder God and Susanoo. These eyes are straight. It must have been very hard for you to get these eyes? In the next instant, Susanoo of Uchiha Madara also entered the second form with 2 hands and 4 arms. 4 curved swords were cut obliquely, but the dark gray Susanoo disappeared again, appearing in a blind spot behind the dark blue Susanoo. Another sword fell, causing the dark blue Susanoo to wing up and almost to be knocked out. Flying Thunder God with Susanoo is really exaggerated. Uchiha Madara squinted her eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Did so many powerful men be born during the time she died? Their purpose is the tail beast. Naruto, who is in charge of the brain, broke through and found that Senju Hashirama was constantly approaching Gaara while attacking Hinata. Wooden Golem and the others shouted. Jinchuriki, don't force himself to join the battle, retreat to the rear, and then people above the cage level will deal with the main enemy force, and the rest will face White Zetsu, at least until Master Everbright comes over. The 5 Jinchuriki looked at each other. To be honest, they have no reason to follow Nara Shikahisa's orders. Follow what he said. At this time, Terumi Mei, the mother, spoke. The 5 Jinchuriki also obediently retreated to the rear of the university. This can't work. Under the unspeakable eyes of Conan flying in the air, Uchiha Madara's eternal Mangekyo, which spins sharply, turns into a dark blue circle after another. Susanoo, who has 4 arms on both sides, and Uchiha Madara, who is in the middle position, made 3 different seals at the same time. Tengai Shinsei. And almost at the same time, Senju Hashirama gritted his teeth and changed the seal. Damn it, I can't control my body. Wood-style Mu Long technique, and Chapter 187 Rinnegan of Uchiha Springs, first more seeking subscription. Just when the Jinchuriki retreated, Uchiha Madara and the controlled Senju Hashirama took time to shoot. On the ground below, wood dragons that are not inferior to the color-tailed beasts broke through the ground, roaring and blocking the Jinchuriki's retreat. Even Nine Tails, who has never liked to talk very much, looked at this and couldn't help but change his expression. Be careful. The tail beast will be ruined if it touches that. When Uchiha Madara's B******D controlled himself to fight Senju Hashirama. Once this wooden dragon wraps around its body, it will immediately absorb all the chakra in the tail beast. Hey, up! Shuhei inside Gaara also reminded loudly. Not only the tail beasts, but many members of the ninja allied forces also reacted. Look up to the sky. The huge, 293, meteorites fell one after another, showing an absolute power of a different dimension from them. But it is different from the main attack method in the original work. Successive meteorites landed, blocking all Jinchuriki's retreat. There are meteorites above and wooden dragons below. The back road is broken. Uchiha Madara's meaning is very clear. The tail beast must not be allowed to escape from the battlefield. What to do? Use tailed beast bomb to make a way out. Wooden Golem asks other Jinchuriki and tail beasts through spiritual dialogue. Water-style super waterfall technique. Boil-style thick sour mist. At this time, 3 tails and 6 tails, controlled by Uchiha Obito's Rinnegan, had already outflanked both sides. Battle B*********D. What are you running? The last battle, of course, is TMD. The moment 8 Tails Gyuki burst into foul language, he and Killer B went into complete body tail beastization. The giant body of the bull-headed octopus smashed past the rushing 3 tails. A whole tortoise. Get out of lousy. Seeing that 8 tails and 3 tails are fighting each other. The remaining Jinchuriki looked at each other, 3 other people besides Naruto. At the same time enter the state of complete body and tail beastization. Fight against 4 tails, 6 tails and 7 tails controlled by Rinnegan's pupil power. Damn it. I can't be like that yet. Seeing that only oneself could not be fully present, Naruto was unwilling to hold his stomach tightly. Advertisement, Smelly Fox, are you still going to stare at this time? Seeing that 9 Tails was still unwilling to act, 8 Tails couldn't help but yelled. Humph. 9 Tails in the sealed space inside Naruto snorted coldly, and shouted to Naruto with a strong, uncomfortable voice. Hey, boy, this time is an exception, I will help you once. Oh, really? Thank you, Naruto said ecstatically. Humph. 9 Tails hummed back again. That guy, why is there Rinnegan too? Soaring in the sky using paper fleece wings, Conan, who was busy dealing with the White Zetsu army, looked at Uchiha Madara in disbelief. That pair of Rinnegan, what are they? As if hearing Conan's voice, Uchiha Madara didn't know to answer her, or said to himself. This was originally my eyes. It started at the moment Rinnegan was revealed. Uchiha Madara's pupil power skyrocketed once again. When Uchiha Izumi wanted to launch a raid with Susao Flying Thunder God again one. Shen Luo Tianzheng. The violent repulsion released from Uchiha Madara's body directly shot Kuu away. Dark blue Susanoo grew his feet quickly, and Rinnegan keenly caught the dark gray Susanoo's position. It's useless, your flying thunder god is indeed faster than Tobirama, but it still won't make it into my eyes. While speaking, Uchiha Madara changed to Jian, wood-style birthday of the flower and tree world. The endless vines with large buds are like a python winding towards Susanoo in Uchiha Spring. At the moment when the dark gray beard was entangled, the buds bloomed instantly, releasing a strong numbing powder. Let the inhaler's brain surge with a strong and irresistible feeling of fatigue. He can also wood style. The countless coalition ninjas who have just witnessed the horror of first Hokage wood style are all stupid. Is this wood style free? Who knows? Spring, Yi Kang shouted worriedly. Among the women of Yèyuè Guāng, the one who has the best relationship with Uchiha Spring is Yi Kang. Advertisement, Shen Luo Tianzheng. In an instant, the violent repulsive force impacted and shattered the pollen of the Fujiki surrounding Susanoo. Dark gray Susanoo has a huge bowstring on his left hand, and a huge sword on it with his right hand. Call out, almost as soon as dark gray Susanoo let go. The arrow shot has penetrated Uchiha Madara's Susanoo and its internal body. So fast, Gaara, who was sitting on the quicksand flying in the sky, said in astonishment. As soon as the bowstring was loosened, the arrow had hit the target. It also penetrated through the enemy's Suzuo shield. However, 2 seconds later, I saw the body of Uchiha Madara being penetrated, turning into a wooden sculpture at a speed visible to the naked eye. That is wood-style shadow clone. Uchiha Spring is dark gray. The ground under Susanoo's feet suddenly split into a huge gap. The dark blue Susanoo rushed out of it and directly shot Uchiha Spring away. How about Hashirama's wood-style shadow clone? In the past, the only person who could see through as an enemy was me, with my pupil power. In the distance, the Uchiha Spring, which hit the mountain wall and even knocked down the entire hill, controlled Susanoo to stand up again. Rinnegan in the eye socket and Rinnegan of Uchiha Madara looked at each other. Uchiha Madara only felt that the blood that did not exist in his body at the moment was surging. Unexpectedly, besides me, Uchiha has a second existence that can awaken Rinnegan. How did you get those eyes? No need to tell you. Uchiha Izumi wiped off a little bloodline from his horns. HALF 5.0 mimicked his eyes and said, "You are the enemy. For me, this is enough. Ha ha ha. I dared to say it." Uchiha Madara laughed loudly and glanced at the current battlefield situation. For the rest, it's better to say that Obito's rubbish kid is more useless than he thought. As White Zetsu said, there is no time to waste. In the next instant, a dazzling blue light rose into the sky with a strong air current. Blowing Uchiha Madara's black hair down, the dark blue chakra turned into an entity and quickly formed a super giant with a height of 100 meters. I recognized that the extremely rotten race at the beginning gave birth to a strong man I recognized. Then now, let you see, the real strongest power of the Uchiha clan. Chapter 188 The Last Impure World Reincarnation, Second More Seeking Subscription. The majestic dark blue chakra turned into a tengu with a long nose, and a monster with a giant samurai sword hung on each side of the waist. In the crystal in the center of the giant's eyebrows, Uchiha Madara is standing in it. Just rely on, I am fully aware of Susanoo. Even several complete body-tailed beasts, under this force, all seem a little insignificant. B****************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** eyes and pupils. He remembered bad memories again. This is the real Susanoo. So far, I have seen Susanoo's Konoha Xiaoqiang and many other coalition ninjas several times. Witnessing this scene, I was all silly. Scream, Madara guy, compared to us, retains the strength of his life to a greater extent. Unable to drive his body freely, Senju Tobarama, who was forced to fight Namikaze Minato, cursed inwardly. Neither he nor Senju Hashirama were able to exert all their strengths during their lifetime. Especially his elder brother Senju Hashirama, even the final stunt Shinsu Senju can't use. Although Uchiha Madara is also a 10 Impure World reincarnation body, but because of the relationship with Rinnegan, his strength is closer to the peak of his life. Uchiha Madara, who is in the crystal of Susanoo's eyebrows, casts downwards with his spleen-squinting eyes, and embraces Uexin Qiandao with his hands. Saw will use this Uchiha's strongest power to send you on the road. Boom, the moment the voice fell. From where Uchiha Spring stood just now, a purple beam of light soared into the sky. A pair of huge wings spread out first. The next second it was opened, there were fangs and a fierce face, but another complete body Susanoo with obvious feminine characteristics appeared. Like a Valkyrie who has fallen into hell. The air current detonated by a hurricane swept across the battlefield, turning into a circle after wave and rushing to the surroundings. That girl will do too. Fourth Raikage's face was full of horror. When I saw Susanoo of Madara, even if it was his character, I couldn't help it, live. While thinking about what to do, Uchiha Quan came to the same hand. This is Rinnegan's true power. The pupils in Conan's eyes trembling violently above the sky a few miles away. Even though she didn't want to admit it anymore, the facts were before her eyes. The use of Rinnegan by these two people is above Nagato. Advertisement, Boyle-style weird power, at this time, directly below Conan, Kimimaro in a full-body state, in the form of 5 tails Kakuo, slammed 4 tails into the air. But Uchiha Obito, who stepped on the head of 4 tails, did not suffer any damage. 5 tails attacks still passed through his body as if hitting the air. The next moment, Urwei jumped into the air and spit out a huge ball of blue firework. Uchiha Obito dodges sideways. Conan, who was estimating the time, soared in the sky and reminded loudly. I have calculated the time. 5 minutes is the time limit that his technique can maintain. She must kill Uchiha Obito and avenge Nagato. Ha ha ha, interesting, did you master this trick too? Seeing the feminine perfect body Susanoo on the opposite side, Uchiha Madara laughed wildly. Susanoo, who controlled her own perfect body, suddenly drew out his double swords. Then, let me see how far you can dance. Compare Uchiha Madara to Susanoo's double sword. Uchihaquan's is a long knife similar to a sealing knife. In the blink of an eye, the double knives and meow knives chopped together. The horrible shock wave instantly summoned Uchiha Madara to smash the meteorites that were used to resist the tail beast into child powder. This is too exaggerated. Jiraiya swallowed. What the legendary Sanin, I feel as a senior's face, has been lost in this war. Wood-style Mu Long technique. On the other side of the battlefield, the roaring wooden dragon once stood up from the ground, constantly chasing up like Hinata. Shen Luo Tianzheng. Hinata shook his small hand, and the repulsive shock wave resembled a big hand invisible to the naked eye, smashing the flying wooden dragon to pieces. It's very powerful, but wood style is able to regenerate continuously. Hyuga's child, you must quickly block my actions. Senju Hashirama reminded him, but the speed of transporting chakra with both hands did not slow down at all. Sure enough, the wooden dragon half of its body was smashed by Hinata. In just half a second, the fractured area regenerates rapidly, and again he is ready to rush forward with a grin. Take advantage of it now. Hinata's hands and palms are facing each other, and a light green ball of light condenses and forms at a rapid speed in the middle. This feeling belongs to Hamura. Perceiving Hinata's chakra, Black Zetsu's expression changed again. The reincarnation jade in Hinata's palm has already flown out. At the last moment before the wood dragon launched the second wave of attacks again. Advertisement: the wooden dragon was interrupted by one blow and hit Senju Hashirama's abdomen, hitting a hole the size of a tennis ball that was ventilated from the front and back. It's another technique I haven't seen before, but it's a good job. Senju Hashirama smiled in astonishment. Hinata immediately rushed towards Senju Hashirama and said inwardly. It should have weakened the first generation to a certain extent. When rushing in front of the opponent, Hinata patted the opponent's wound with his palm and whispered. Impure World Reincarnation. Solution. Damn it. The situation is getting worse and worse as this goes on. Noting that Senju Hashirama's soul began to break away from the body, and Orochimaru used Impure World Reincarnation again to cancel his reincarnation contract with Senju Hashirama. Immediately Senju Hashirama will also become the opponent's 293 name combat power. Black Zetsu yelled badly. Although I want to use this when Obito is completely abolished, but now it seems that I can't wait any longer. Black Zetsu thought, this is the last Impure World Reincarnation. Awesome. I have been able to control my body freely. Senju Hashirama, who was reintroduced by Orochimaru for Impure World Reincarnation, squeezed his hand excitedly and said in ecstasy. Master First Generation, please stop Master Second Generation, I will deal with Obito, I know how to deal with Kamui of Obito. Namikaze Minato moved to the side of Senju Hashirama and asked. Ha ha ha, don't worry, Tobirama has never beaten me. Senju Hashirama laughed nervously. Senju Tobirama in the distance has a black line on his face. Call, at this moment, the center of the battlefield. Another coffin rose suddenly. Everyone on the battlefield looked around again. What's going on? It's already this juncture, how come there are still reincarnations of filthy scholars? Is there any Impure World reincarnation stronger than Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara? When the coffin lid slowly opened, when I saw the figure walking out from it. Namikaze Minato, Hitaki Kakashi, and Uchiha Obito. Even Might Guy, Shi Rihong and others were all dumbfounded. Chapter 189I, Madara, would like to call you the strongest licking dog, first more seeking subscription. Kakashi. The girl who walked out of the coffin saw the silver-haired hedgehog wearing a mask in the distance, overlapping with a figure in her mind, and muttered the other's name. The girl is about 12 years old. Although her facial features are not stunning, she can afford the word, cute. It's just that the body full of cracks, constructed from dust, destroys this beauty. The girl looked around the battlefield with a surprised look. Most of them were faces she didn't recognize, but she still recognized a few familiar figures. Red and Teacher. When she saw Namikaze Minato, the girl's eyes stopped for a few more seconds. In the end, her eyes stopped on the man in the middle of the battlefield. The doubt in his eyes lasted for a long time, and finally he said a name in an uncertain tone. Take it, Obito. Lin. Uchiha Obito only felt like a knuckle in his throat, and after holding back for a long time, he barely spit out a word. Ta Rihong's red eyes widened. Lin's last reincarnation, Ju, is actually Lin. The girl who was last released by Impure World Reincarnation, more than 95% of the ninjas at the scene, didn't even know who she was. I also don't understand what the enemy wanted to do when summoning her out at this critical juncture. However, Uchiha Madara couldn't be more clear. I sneered inwardly, I really have a hand, Black Zetsu, I can prepare for the final stage of the plan. Nohara Lin, who was in the same year as Yurihong, Might Guy and others, was the same teammate of Hitaki Kakashi and Uchiha Obito. One of the disciples of Namikaze Minato, the bloodless ninja who died in the Third Ninja War. As a ninja, her popularity is extremely low. Out of Konoha village, I am afraid that there are only a few missed shinobi ninjas, and I also know that she was the former Jinchuriki of Three Tails. Therefore, most people at the scene could not understand how the masked man Uchiha Obito showed such an expression. What's going on? I should be dead, what happened, Obito? Rin Nohara took 2 steps forward in confusion and asked Uchiha Obito in the distance. Seeing those pure eyes as in the memory, Shane cast her at her. Uchiha Obito only felt that a sharp knife had been thrust into his heart. Don't look at me, don't come over, don't come close to me. As an old licking dog, Uchiha Obito, who has been a boss for more than 10 years. Advertisement, it acted like a mouse that had seen a cat, backing back again and again. He was afraid. I'm afraid Nohara Lin knows what he has done over the years. Although Wentu always said that, it doesn't matter what the world is like. But that is only his inner self-comfort and a kind of external force. When the goddess of day and night appeared in front of him, that is another matter. Your wish is not to create a Tsukuyomi world with this little girl, you just want to create a world where she likes you. At this time, Lao Yinbi Uchiha Madara, who avoided Susanoo's blow from Uchiha Izumi, suddenly spoke, and thrust Uchiha Obito with another knife. That's right, if it is only to protect Rinne Nohara, Uchiha Obito has already obtained the capital to resurrect the goddess with the revolving heaven technique after the original work was obtained Rinnegan. But he didn't use this simplest method, instead, it took a lot of effort to use infinite Tsukuyomi. It's because he knew it deep in his heart, even if Lin Nohara is resurrected. After the goddess knows what he has done over the years. With Nohara Lin's character, it is never possible to put him in his arms. She would just alienate herself and return to Kakashi. This is absolutely unacceptable for an old licking dog. Therefore, he wants to create a new world. A Nohara Lin likes her world. I am Madara, I would like to call you the strongest licking dog. Obito, why, are you still alive? What happened? For other people's words, Nohara Lin couldn't understand a word. But what she didn't expect was that Uchiha Obito, who was supposed to have died in front of her during the Battle of Shinmukyo Bridge, was still alive. And judging from his appearance, it should have been at least 10 years. Immediately afterwards, Nohara Linlin trembled all over. His body rushed towards Uchiha Obito uncontrollably. The rest of the Ninja Alliance army was unexpected. The girl summoned by the enemy actually attacked Uchiha Obito, who was the leader of the enemy army. Nohara Lin's strength during his lifetime was only Chunin, which of course can't be helped by the word Chiba Obito. Advertisement, but it is in this set of Konoha basic boxing that is unremarkable in the eyes of most people. But Uchiha Obito was defeated steadily. No, to be precise, Uchiha Obito didn't fight back at all. It's just a messy dodge, and there is no meaning to fight back at all, and even the wolf fox forgot to open Kamui. Obito, what the hell is going on? Why am I alive? Are you still alive? How did you escape from the Bridge of the Gods? Rin Nohara asked Uchiha Obito as she fisted. Don't, stop talking, stop talking. Uchiha Obito looked terrified and even yelled in disintegration. The others were stunned. What happened to this guy? Although I don't know what's going on, it's certain that the guy's mentality collapsed. Eight Tails exclaimed. Take this opportunity. As soon as these words came out, 1 tail, 2 tails, 5 tails and 8 tails all shot together. Suppress the 3 tails, 4 tails, 6 tails and 7 tails that were also controlled by Uchiha Obito Rinnegan just now. Naruto, pull out the black sticks from these guys. 8 Tails shouted. Oh! Naruto in 9 Tails Golden Body Mode jumped up, forming a cross in the air. Shadow Clone Technique. Naruto, who split into 4 shadow clones, jumped onto the 4 controlled tail beasts. After accurately finding the black rod that controls them, he pulled out the people outside. And Hinata is to find the space of Uchiha Obito, who was backed by Nohara Lin. He has a flaw. A flash of light flashed in Tensigen. Hinata descended from the sky and landed behind Uchiha Obito. And Runtu, whose mentality was devastated by the goddess. It wasn't until Hinata descended behind him that he suddenly reacted. Want to use Kamui to escape, but it's too late. Shenkong Strike. Chapter 190 The Third Template Zeus, Second More Seeking Subscription. Cloud Shinobi Village Battlefield. The Crimson of Yin and Yang, chakra turns into endless weapons such as swords, guns, sticks, etc., moving along with the golden body of Otsutsuki. The type that is good at blade warfare is definitely the top one among the opponents Yèyuè Guāng has seen. But for me, this kind of stuff has nothing to do. Between raising his hand, the endless iron sand covering the thunderlight, like the end of the world, gushing out of sight. God-like arms protruded from the cracks in the earth, and the giant axe in the Otsutsuki golden-style hand was less than the last half centimeter from Yèyuè Guāng's forehead. Grasp the wide, fat body. This arm alone has a volume beyond Susanoo. There is another Onoki going to that world. Yèyuè Guāng snorted and controlled Thor's arms, preparing to knead the Otsutsuki fat pig into meat sauce. Suddenly, Yèyuè Guāng only felt a strange wave. The picture of the field of vision in front of him flickered. The Otsutsuki gold style held by Thor's arm has disappeared. Yèyuè Guāng turned to look, only to see the Otsutsuki gold style exhaling, kneeling on the side of the Otsutsuki peach pose, and he couldn't stop breathing. Just now, it doesn't seem to be a simple yin and yang escape, but a Rinnegan skill like Uchiha Madara's Round Tomb Hell and the Second Pilar's Heavenly Hand Power? Yèyuè Guāng speculated Dao. It is the same as awakening Mangekyo meeting 293 with 2 Mangekyo pupils. The person who awakens Rinnegan will also awaken a unique pupil technique at the same time. Both Uchiha Madara's Round Tomb Hell and the 2 Pillars Heavenly Hand strength are the same. Of course, there are no defective products like Runtu and Nagato transplanted from other people's Rinnegan. Just now, I could actually take people away without even realizing it. Except for Rinnegan's unique pupil technique, Yèyuè Guāng doesn't think there is any other ability to do it. However, with the character of the Otsutsuki clan as an improper person, he did not use this trick to kill me, but to save people. It shows that the time of his trick just now is not enough to kill me, so he can only choose to save people next to him. Yèyuè Guāng secretly analyzed. Moreover, Rinnegan's pupil technique needs to experience a little CD buffer time once. He should not be able to use that technique at the moment. Snapped. Yèyuè Guāng, who had thoughts in his heart, snapped his fingers. In the raging sea of black iron sand, a dozen thunderpillars fell in the dark clouds that accompanied the dark sky. The black iron sand underneath was entangled together. One after another thunder giant stood up. You can imagine how shocking the screen is. The dead fish face of Otsutsuki Peach style can't help but appear, Baffa, with a 3-point fear. Advertisement, damn it. How could such a freak appear on the earth? And judging by his breath, this person is not like Ashura or Indra reincarnated. Possess the power of Otsutsuki. This makes Otsutsuki Momoshiki, who is the head of Otsutsuki, feel an unprecedented sense of humiliation. I don't know how the fighting situation over there is, and I don't want to continue wasting time with you. When the words fell, dozens of thunder giants around raised their hands and pressed their thumbs to the middle joint of the index finger. Boom, boom. Thunder super electromagnetic guns from all directions were fired together, each with the destructive power that can destroy a country, and blasted towards the Otsutsuki duo in the center. At the last moment, Otsutsuki Momoshiki gritted his teeth viciously. At the final moment of being swallowed by more than a dozen thunder super electromagnetic cannons. Screw the right hand on the severely injured Otsutsuki Gold style back of the neck. Ah! Otsutsuki Jinshi let out a sharp scream, but his scream was soon overshadowed by the explosion of the electromagnetic cannon. Another battlefield tens of miles away. When you see the horizon on the other side of the sky being blown out of the bottom, you can even vaguely see the huge holes in the universe. Nara Shikahisa, Yamanaka Shwane and others who came from Cloud Shinobi Village knew what was going on the battlefield there. There is such a breathtaking sense of oppression after such a distance. I can't imagine how it would end up on the battlefield over there. It's an exaggeration. As you said, unexpected monsters appeared during my death. Uchiha Madara and Susanoo noticed the movement and couldn't help but sigh. With his body of impure world reincarnation, he has to deal with monsters that can release such attacks. Still too reluctant, Master Madara, Obito is a waste. Black Zetsu's voice echoed in Uchiha Madara's mind. Uchiha Madara retracted his gaze and looked down at the ground. Uchiha Obito, who was too late to use Kamui to dodge after Hinata's airstrike. Most of the body has been crushed, even with Hashirama cells to help it repair. But for such a serious injury, without the help of White Zetsu's body, at least it would take several hours to regain his mobility. That brat is indeed dead. Yeah, let's start, Uchiha Madara nodded. Facing Uchiha Obito who fell to the ground, Mito Nohara Lin immediately knelt beside him, worrying. Advertisement, Obito, are you okay? Lin? Uchiha Obito, who fell to the ground, looked at the goddess who was close at hand, and the dog-licking attribute reappeared, tearfully trying to raise his hand to touch her. Even if it's just a body made of dust without the slightest temperature. Cloud Shinobi Battlefield. Like the flames of the doomsday, exploding into the sky. The intense aftermath of high temperature and lightning flashes spread to the surroundings. All the protruding things within dozens of miles were rubbed into dust. That, Yèyuè Guāng in LV6 form raised his eyes and paid attention to the situation in the center of the explosion. Puff. Finally, when the electric light dissipated. The body of a mummy that had dried up as if it had been soaked up was thrown down. Although it is a world away from the previous appearance, Yèyuè Guāng can still see it at a glance. That is exactly the Otsutsuki Golden style. He looked up again with the same expression. The Otsutsuki Peach style at this moment has completely changed its appearance. Originally Byakugan turned into Rinnegan, and the scattered long hair was like a hedgehog standing upside down. The pair of long horns, which are iconic of the Otsutsuki clan, are also spit out from both sides of the Tinling Gaia like cow horns. The dense black stripes occupies almost half of the face. This pair of people is not human. Ghosts and not ghosts are more suitable for your family. Yèyuè Guāng was full of mockery. After the transformation, Otsutsuki Momoshiki responded with a healed smile. You are dead. Dead? Me? Yèyuè Guāng twitched violently from his smile. Just now, Masaka Makoto's template has been completely unlocked. The strongest Thor system, open black lens bracket host. Yèyuè Guāng close black lens bracket, first template, Enel. Unlocking degree. 100%, second template. Masaka Makoto absolute ability form, with a human body, reaching the realm of God. Unlocking degree. 100%, third template. Zeus, king of the gods. Chapter 191 Killing the gods like cutting the grass, first more seeking subscription. With the sound of the system prompt, Yèyuè Guāng's body began to show looming blue runes. The voice of the system echoed in my mind again. Awaken third template. Zeus, the existence on the top of the gods, one with the world. If you die, the whole world will also fall into the destruction of chaos. Issue awakening reward 1 Olympus Excalibur, integrating heaven and earth aura, powerful to destroy the heaven and the earth. Gather the power of thunder to kill the gods like slashing grass. The whole person's momentum and feeling changed drastically. The right hand squeezed across the void, a handle shone with golden light all over. With Yèyuè Guāng, his right hand was held. The inside of the sword blade overflows with infinite non-azure aura, and is mixed with looming thunder electric arc. That is the sword of the Lord of Thunder Olympus Excalibur. This sense of oppression, what exactly is this power? Absorbing the power of the subordinate Otsutsuki's golden style, Otsutsuki's peach style face, whose appearance has changed drastically, fell like a waterfall of cold sweat. At this moment, there is no dispute that he is the Six Paths class, and he actually has an emotion called fear. This is something he would not believe in anyway. Damn it. Use the roar to reluctantly turn the endless fear into anger. The ground below was razed to the ground, the magma in the surface burst and exploded, and the splashed rocks turned into an ape-shaped giant that was even bigger than Susanoo. Yuanyan waved his huge arms and roared towards Yèyuè Guāng. That power, compared to the ability to shoot Susanoo in the air, right? Yèyuè Guāng turned the divine sword in his hand. An astonishing wave of energy erupted from the blade. The destructive force that swept out of the ape rock disintegrated and destroyed it in the world. Nani. The peach-like expression of Otsutsuki in the transformation form changed drastically. How easy is it to block it? That's all. Yèyuè Guāng, who was completely in the realm of God, half emptied his eyes, and his sardonic expression reignited the anger in Otsutsuki's heart. Damn it, after the roar, the Otsutsuki peach style disappeared instantly. Yèyuè Guāng raised his eyebrows slightly. Did you use it again? His Rinnegan pupil technique. It's not ultra-high speed like teleportation, nor illusion like blindfold. But, if you awakened the third template, your move might still pose a threat to me, but now it is. Advertisement. Halfway through the conversation, Yèyuè Guāng turned around abruptly, and slashed a sword to his left back with his backhand. Ah! The peach-style Otsutsuki who happened to appear in this position was caught off guard, and was cut under the sword of Yèyuè Guāng's left hand. Your Rinnegan pupil technique, time is frozen, right? Yèyuè Guāng agitated the spiritual power overflowing from the inside of the sword body. All the blood of Otsutsuki contaminated on the Olympus Excalibur sword was expelled. You Otsutsuki clan, this group of pseudo-gods flaunts their power for thousands of years, isn't it enough? The fierce light overflowing from Yèyuè Guāng's eyes was firmly locked on the Otsutsuki peach-like throat, and he smiled. I have an interesting idea. Cut down all the first levels of your clan and put them on the counter for future generations to watch. Let them know what the end is going to be, a mess with a big fart. What do you think? Under the horrified expression, Otsutsuki Momoshiki couldn't make a sound for a while. That's what a person with extreme fear will have. Illustration. The family that claims to be God actually knows, afraid. Yèyuè Guāng smiled even more and slowly drifted towards the other party. A huge fear came to my mind, and Otsutsuki Momoshiki no longer had any thoughts of fighting. Turn around and fly to the outer space of the atmosphere. He only feels that the Earth is too dangerous now, and he wants to return to Mars. Puffy. However, just when Otsutsuki Momoshiki turned around and wanted to fly into the space, a sharp pain came from the abdomen. Binocular Rinnegan looked down with a look of astonishment. A golden giant sword has pierced his body from behind. The sword head penetrates his abdomen and heart together. Slap. At this time, Yèyuè Guāng's left hand reached from behind and slumped on Otsutsuki's peach-style shoulder. Not waiting for any response from Otsutsuki Momoshiki. Wow. The Olympus Excalibur in Yèyuè Guāng's right hand plunged forward again for 3 points. A large amount of blood spilled from Otsutsuki's peach-style wound. The handle of the sword was against his back, and the entire blade penetrated his body. What? In the next second, Yèyuè Guāng yanked the Excalibur from the Otsutsuki peach-style body again. -0 seeking flowers. 0, but it was not completely pulled out, and the tip of the sword remained in the opponent's body. Puff. Another sword pierced the hole in Otsutsuki's peach-like abdomen, tearing his wound a little bit wider. Immediately afterwards, the sword was pulled out again. Advertisement. Puff. In the next moment, he poke in again. Poke in, pull out, poke in again, pull out again. Yèyuè Guāng didn't know how many times he stopped after repeated operations like this. Until the peach-like body of Otsutsuki was cut into a person shape. Finally, just as Yèyuè Guāng just said, cut his head down. Otsutsuki a chuckle contains too many emotions. The Olympus Excalibur in his right hand dissipated as a light spot. Yèyuè Guāng turned to look north, perceive the amount of chakra emanating from there. It started. Yèyuè Guāng turned into a light of thunder, piercing the black night sky. With the mighty power that even the sun is afraid of and dare not fight with it. A distance of tens of miles can be reached in an instant. But I seem to have forgotten something. Forget it, it won't be very important anyway. At this moment, Sarutobi Hiruzen, with only one head left, was lying on the ground and shouting. But Yèyuè Guāng left, and Otsutsuki peach style has been taken. There is no one in 50 li. The time was set back a few minutes ago. Hit by Hinata's Shenkong. Illustration. Uchiha Obito, who could not use Kamui to dodge in the future, was seriously injured and collapsed to the ground. Very good. Dark gray full-body Uchiha Spring in the crystal between Susanoo's eyebrows secretly waved a small fist. Next, just give Uchiha Obito the final blow. In other words, the Rinnegan who destroyed him. Uchiha Madara can no longer be a demon. Hinata, give him the last blow. Uchiha Quan reminded loudly. Hinata nodded, his right index finger cocked, and the burst of thunderlight contained destructive power even when he was over cage level. Now she doesn't need to be like Third Raikage, who wants to use one Kanshu but also decreases from 4 Kanshu one by one. She can use it directly, and, Chapter 192 The Last Persistence of Licking the Dog, second more seeking subscription. Hinata is ready to send Uchiha Obito on the road with a consistent hand. Sorry, Naruto-sama, let me come. At this moment, Kakashi walked up from the other side, even wearing a mask, he could judge his inner pain with his eyes at the moment. As his former companion and best friend, in the end, I want to personally understand this grievance. In the few rounds with Uchiha Obito just now, Kakashi knew why Obito, who he regarded as his benefactor and hero, would become like this. He thinks he has a great responsibility. Upon hearing this, Hinata silently retracted the Hellspike. At this time, Namikaze Minato also walked up. The former Minato class, who would have thought of meeting again in this form. Kakashi, Teacher Minato, Rin Nohara, who was only 12 years old, fell on her knees beside Uchiha Obito, completely stunned. She didn't expect that she would come back to this world and walk once again, and she would experience such an experience that life is worse than death. Lin, my teacher is also responsible. Namikaze Minato looked painful. No wonder that Ashura can give birth to a man who is reincarnated, and Namikaze Minato is also a Virgin Mary. Faced with Uchiha Obito, the filial piety who killed himself and his wife. He hasn't even started to kill. That fellow Madara, that's right. At this moment, Uchiha Obito, who was lying on the ground in a big shape, finally spoke. Perhaps from the very beginning, I didn't want to create a world with Lin, I just wanted to create a world with Lin likes me. Uchiha Obito at this moment is like a bereaved dog. He didn't have the kind of Uchiha Madara's experience of family leaving and tribal betrayal, twists and turns, and finally wanted to realize the ideal of peace through infinite Tsukuyomi. He just wanted to be with his goddess. He was not great enough to be willing to die for the resurrection of the goddess. If that's the case, he doesn't need to spend a lot of time to launch the Fourth Ninja World War. What infinite Tsukuyomi? After getting Rinnegan of Nagato, he should directly activate the revolving heaven technique to revive his goddess. But he didn't do that, because that's not only his own death. And the resurrected goddess probably won't be grateful to herself either. Because of all these years, Uchiha Obito knows that what he has done is unforgivable. Advertisement, Madara. No, Uchiha Obito. I will kill you to avenge Nagato. Konan fell from midair at this time and saw the fake Uchiha Madara who took Nagato Rinnegan and killed him. The anger rushed to the world, like rushing to learn directly about the life of this swindler who had deceived her and Nagato for nearly 20 years. However, for more than 10 years, Uchiha Obito has used the name, Uchiha Madara, to commit crimes in the ninja world. The enemy he forged is more than Konan. It's okay for me to die, but I have one last thing I want to do. Uchiha Obito raised his hands with difficulty, firmly raised the thumb, index finger, and middle finger of both hands, overlapping them up and down. Konan's expression changed drastically when he saw this Jian. She had heard Nagato talk about this technique, but she had never used it. Because the price is the user's life. As Uchiha Obito's left eye Rinnegan's pupil power spreads and fluctuates. Nohara Lin's cracked body began to bloom with dazzling white light. The cracks formed by dust on the skin also disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. Why, what's wrong? What does he want to do? Naruto in Nine Tails form cried out curiously. Senju Tobirama, who is bound by Senju Hashirama's wood style, is also full of incomprehensibility. I have never seen that seal. Is it possible that he wants to come back at the end? Outer Dao round revolving heaven health technique. Konan whispered the name of this ninjutsu, twisted his eyebrows and explained. Rinnegan's seventh ability at the cost of the caster's life. Namikaze Minato, who heard Konan's explanation next to him, cried out in shock. Obito. Do you want to give Lin to, in the end, let me accomplish the right thing? This is the last attachment of the licking dog, however, everything in this world often backfires. Just when the revolving heaven health technique was launched to the last moment. The right arm of White Zetsu, which was connected before Uchiha Obito, began to turn black rapidly and directly occupied half of Obito's body. Only for such a moment, the light covering Nohara Lin's body dissipated. Instead, that light shines on Uchiha Madara's body now. Everyone around was shocked by this sudden upheaval. Advertisement feeling unable to control his body freely, Uchiha Obito gritted his teeth and said. Black Zetsu, you won? I've been hiding in this arm from the beginning, in order to control your body at the moment you use the revolving heaven technique. Black Zetsu sneered and said, oh, I'm dying, do you still want to resurrect this little girl? Choose a path but don't have the will to complete it. You really are a complete waste, guide. Seeing Uchiha Madara's body shine more and more, the cracks in the body are gradually disappearing. Senju Hashirama rushed towards the opponent without hesitation, and shouted at the same time. Quick! Stop him! Uchiha, who controls Susanoo, also changed his face in shock, inciting Susanoo's wings to dive down behind him. Just wanted to split Uchiha Madara's body in half. Hinata, Samui, Terumi Mei and other women who were far away reminded them loudly. Hinata also no longer cared about a fair, Hell Stab reappeared, preparing to take Uchiha Obito's life. You are too late. Uchiha Madara gave a crazy smile. Black 5.0 is definitely the resurrection target of the revolving heaven technique that controls Uchiha Obito's body transfer wheel. Wheel revolving heaven health technique, oops. Nine Tails inside Naruto felt the horrible feeling he couldn't help feeling. He knew that the thing he didn't want to see had happened. The Uchiha spring above and Senju Hashirama on the ground simultaneously attacked Uchiha Madara. Suzuwei, Sage Art Myojin Gate, 2 Super Cage level attacks fell. The strong vibration caused the earth to crack, however. In the endless smoke of gunpowder, Rinnegan kept showing his right eye. Shenluo Tianzheng, caught off guard, the two were pushed back by the shockwave. Chapter 193 He is in trouble when he comes first more seeking subscription. Damn it. Keep the Meow knife in front of you to avoid being blown away. Even with Uchiha Quan's character, he couldn't help but cursed at this time. It doesn't matter if you were resurrected, so I don't bother to let Hinata disarm Impure World reincarnation and kill him directly. When the words fell, Uchiha Quan suddenly stretched out his right hand. Shenluo Tianzheng. The shockwave of the repulsive force is also used to offset the impact of the opponent. The dark ray complete body Susanoo burst his power output to a new height and slashed down again. Summoning technique. Out of the gunpowder, Uchiha Madara, who had been hiding in the ground from White Zetsu, got his left eye and suddenly pressed his hand to the ground. Roar! Susanoo's ghetto statue roared and turned his head to face Susanoo, who was falling into the sky with the ugly face. Susanoo suddenly opened his mouth and spit out countless chains from his throat, which bound Susanoo's limbs. This guy. Seeing this, Uchiha Quan quickly launched Flying Thunder God and transferred his Susanoo together, free from the shackles of the chains. The fully resurrected 10-character Chiya Madara stood under the ghetto statue, stroked her right hand to her heart, and laughed with a crazy face. Sure enough, it is still necessary to use a living body to have such a refreshing feeling of dripping away. Damn it, that's it, Senju Hashirama brazenly shot again. Susanoo's wooden golem rises from the soles of feet. Hit Uchiha Madara with a heavy hammer. You who can't use your strength before you live, can you fight me now, Hashirama? Faced with a speed that has not been beaten in the past, Uchiha Madara behaved dismissively. It was the last moment when Wooden Golem threw his fist down. Uchiha Madara suddenly disappeared. It was a moment when Senju Hashirama was stunned. Flashed to the side of Senju Hashirama. Surprised, Senju Hashirama quickly turned around and prepared to respond. However, Uchiha Madara has already slapped a palm, and the black stick pierced from the palm of the palm penetrates Senju Hashirama's heart with accuracy. The body can't move. The moment he was recruited, Senju Hashirama felt the strangeness of his body. Advertisement Uchiha Madara's chakra poured into the body through this black rod, making him unable to generate chakra freely. It's a pity, Hashirama, it was me who won in the end. Uchiha Madara pinched Senju Hashirama's neck with one hand. I don't know if it was because of seeing his former enemy, his emotions became extremely excited. Suddenly, the world shook. The dark night clouds above began to converge towards the south. The endless thunder and lightning contained in it, like a slave who obeyed the master, started to converge towards the south. The violent thunder, as if to crush everything in the world. Even after being resurrected, Uchiha Madara is even more powerful than before. Can't help but feel a sensation of cold back. What's the matter with this power? The excitement on Uchiha Madara's face finally turned into astonishment, and while absorbing Senju Hashirama chakra, he looked to the south. That's the direction of Cloud Shinobi Village? Master Everbright, this force is something that humans can do? The battle over there should be over? No one can survive under this force? The ninja allied forces who had gritted their teeth due to the complete resurrection of Uchiha Madara. Because this is like the picture of the end of the world, I became more and more excited. What about the resurrection? We still have a trump card to restrain you. At this time, Black Zetsu, who occupies Uchiha Obito's body, used Kamui to escape and reminded. Master Madara, please revive Ten Tails quickly. Yèyuè Guāng has gained new power. If he rushes over before Ten Tails is resurrected, it will be in trouble. Uchiha Madara, under the deterrence of the power displayed by Yèyuè Guāng in the south, also had to put away his heart to play. He cast his gaze to the nine-tailed beast in the distance. It just so happens that the beasts have gathered, so let's start. As soon as the words fell, the chain used to deal with Uchiha Izumi Susanoo was again spit out from the ghetto statue. In an instant, the necks of the nine-tailed beasts were tightly clasped. Anyone can give all the nine-tailed beasts in one move. Terumi Mei's eyes widened, feeling incredible. Conan frowned. The energy of the ghetto statue has a strong restraint effect on the tail beast. Advertisement, then go directly to Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Quan controls Susanoo completely, throwing Flying Thunder God Kunai. The huge complete body Susanoo disappeared, and then flashed on the left side of the ghetto statue, slashing down its forehead. Rebirth Jade. Hinata also appeared from the other side to attack. Although it is slightly less powerful than the truth-seeking ball, it is better than the number of light green balls, which bombard the open mouth of the ghetto statue like a torrential rain. These two little girls are too troublesome, they have no choice but to take out their whole cards in advance. Uchiha Madara's heart was fragrant, and the focus in Rinnegan's left eye suddenly shrank. Hell by the tomb. What? Uchiha Spring and Hinata 297 were caught off guard. The two people who even Shenluo Tianzheng couldn't help but were repelled at the same time. Terumi Mei. What's the matter? What did that guy do? Yèyuè Guāng. He can actually repel Wadian and Quan at the same time. Samui. I didn't see it. Is it too fast? Or something special? After driving the two biggest troubles back with the round tomb hell, Uchiha Madara turned his attention back to the nine-tailed beasts and said inwardly, take advantage of it now. The first one is Shuhei. If it is normal, forget it. To resurrect 10 tails, the order must be from 1 to 9. Gaara. Master Fengying. I watched Shuhei be pulled into Geto Statue's mouth. Tamari also has a group of Sand Shinobi ninjas screaming. Damn it. It's too late, Shozuru screamed, the moment he was pulled out of Gaara's body by the golem chain. Removed one of his arms, left the tail beast chakra contained in Gaara's body, and shouted. This should help him for a while, but Lousy must be pulled out quickly. Then, there are 2 tails, 3 tails, 4 tails until 8 tails, and 9 tails. Chapter 194. This dead ghost finally came, second more seeking subscription. Next is 1. Uchiha Madara's gaze swept to the remaining 4 beasts one by one. Absorb one by one according to the number of tails from less to more. 2 tails, 3 tails, 4 tails and finally 8 tails and 9 tails. A-hole. Samui, I leave a leg in the body, hurry up. When he was frantically pulled towards the Geto statue and was about to be forcibly pulled out of Killer Bee's body. At the last moment when the body was completely pulled out of Killer Bee's body, he broke an octopus leg inside Killer Bee's body and shouted to Sam Yi nearby. In the same way, 9 tails kept part of the yin and yang chakra in Naruto's body. Hinata, who had been shot into flight by the Tomb-Edge prison, has recovered. Use Tensigen to observe the situation of Jinchuriki such as Wooden Golem, Naruto, and explain to everyone. Before the tail beast was taken away, some chakra was left in them, but the survival time it can maintain is very limited. The only way to get rid of that guy is to get the tail beast out again. Tamari shouted anxiously. Roar, roar. The Geto statue that had absorbed the 9-tailed beasts hissed and roared. Under the full moon in the night sky, the body began to undergo intense drastic changes. Hey, don't you think it's a bit weird? Suddenly, Terumi Mei noticed something, and asked Yèyuè Guāng, who was beside her, and asked. At this time, the sun should also come out. Yèyuè Guāng was surprised when he heard the words. He suddenly reacted to Terumi Mei's words. Yes, according to normal time, the sun should have risen long ago. But why? The moon has been successfully attracted, and the resurrection of 10 tails is close at hand. Black Zetsu manipulated Uchiha Obito's body and looked up at the huge full moon in the sky. Seeing that Hitaki Kakashi, Namikaze Minato and other masters have surrounded him, Rinnegan quickly dug out his left eye, escaped from Runtu's body and slipped into the ground. Obito. Kakashi held the Uchiha leader who had almost fallen. At this time, Black Zetsu sneered from the cracks in the ground. After using the revolving heaven technique, he can no longer survive. This waste finally played a role. Roar. Compared with the horrible roar that was so many times as before, it was released with a huge to endless chakra. Advertisement. Namikaze Minato looked up and saw Rinnegan, a huge blood-red jade. It seems that only the height of the sky makes the tail beasts and the complete Susanoo look like babies in front of him. It's as small as a grasshopper. 10 tails. Kakashi, go. Namikaze Minato, who has returned half of the 9 tails to his son, does not have the ability to fight such monsters. Seeing 10 tails coming, he put a hand on Kakashi's shoulder without hesitation and evacuated with flying thunder god speed. Did you see it? Hinata. At this time, Uchiha Spring had already lifted Susanoo completely, and landed next to Hinata, grinning at Rinnegan in his eyes, and muttered in a low voice. At that moment, it flew out of that guy's body. Hinata nodded with a solemn face. It seems to be a clone, more like a shadow. Uchiha Quan turned his head to look at the Jinchuriki who fell to the ground, and after a moment of thought, he shouted. Move the Jinchuriki to the rear. We will defeat that monster as fast as possible and bring the tail beasts back again. No, it's not necessary, Sister Quan. However, as soon as Uchiha Quan had finished speaking, it was Hinata who stopped her. Uchiha Quan looked at her girlfriend in confusion, only to see Hinata's eyes emptied, staring at 10 tails in the distance, and said solemnly. The range of that kind of attack doesn't make sense even if it is withdrawn. On the opposite side of 10 tails, a large deep purple nearly black ultra-high concentration chakra sphere began to condense in front of his mouth. Tailed Beast Bomb. Even the Tailed Beast Bomb of 9 tails, in front of that stuff, seems to be comparing table tennis with basketball. The Uchiha girl who uses Flying Thunder God. At this moment, the leader of Kakashi and Uchiha was moved back to the rear, and Namikaze Minato, who joined Rin Nohara, shouted at Uchiha Izumi. Let's use Flying Thunder God to transfer the Tailed Beast Bomb of 10 tails. The little girl from Hyuga who uses the new Byakugan also helped the old man get rid of Impure World reincarnation. The old man can also use Flying Thunder God. Senju Tobarama also shouted to Hinata, Master Second Generation, my name is Yèyuè Hinata. Hinata said this, but the movement at hand was unambiguous. Quickly help Senju Tobarama to terminate the reincarnation contract with Black Zetsu. The size of the Tailed Beast Bomb can't be transferred if it is not far enough. Uchiha Spring is the first to flash before 10 tails Tailed Beast Bomb. Namikaze Minato and Senju Tobarama are close behind. It also flashed to the other sides of the tailed beast bomb. Advertisement: leave it to the old man and fourth generation. Anyway, it is the body of impure world reincarnation, it can't die. The moment Senju Tobarama's words fell, the tailed beast bomb that 10 Tails was about to launch disappeared from the sight of everyone in the Ninja Alliance army. Boom! Almost at the same instant, a loud explosion sounded. Under the violent shaking of the earth, everyone looked in the direction of the noise and explosion. The orange-red fire light soaring into the sky will burn through the clouds, and the extremely exaggerated mushroom clouds will rise to the sky and mix with the clouds. The use of ninjas for the 3 flying thunder gods is indeed a bit troublesome, but that's all. Originally letting 10 Tails launch tailed beast bomb is just to buy time. Uchiha Madara, who stepped on the head of 10 Tails, spoke calmly. Behind the heels of both feet, a milky white tube emerged from the skin of 10 Tails, which was inserted straight into Uchiha Madara's back. Uchiha Madara transforms Yèyuè Guāng, who felt the change of chakra in the opponent's body, frowned, manipulating gravity and repulsion to soar out. Madara-sama, are you going to be Jinchuriki now? The moon hasn't arrived yet, it will take a while to cast infinite Tsukuyomi. If you want to use infinite Tsukuyomi, you must use Rinnegan's gravity to pull the moon down to a certain height. Before that, even if he became the Jinchuriki of 10 Tails, no Zhao could not successfully launch infinite Tsukuyomi. Coming. Uchiha Madara spit out 2 words indifferently. The voice fell instantly. Above the sky, a thunder pierced through the day and night, like a thunder falling in the world, falling in the center of the battlefield. He appeared right in front of Hinata, Odusan. Seeing the familiar back, Hinata exclaimed in surprise. Everest slave. Uchiha Quan also shouted in surprise. The ninja allied forces in the rear were even more excited with bloodshot eyes, pinching their fists and shouting. Finally arrived. Everbright, the highest combat power of the ninja allied forces, has finally been shot. In this way, the war can be over, Terumi Mei and other female elders exhaled. This dead ghost finally came. Yèyuè Guāng didn't seem to hear the cheers from behind. The 2 songs are one on each side, holding the small heads of Hinata and Uchiha Quan, and beckoning them to withdraw. Chapter 195 Because Your Mother is Weaker, First More Seeking Subscription. Seeing the arrival of Yèyuè Guāng, the top of 10 Tails' head, Rinnegan's Uchiha Madara, who had already received his left eye from Black Zetsu, had slightly condensed pupils, and asked with a blank eye. Is that you, existence standing at the pinnacle of this era? When the words fell, Uchiha Madara's face again put a thick, playful smile on his face, but unfortunately, you were late. The blood of Indra, who belonged to the same line as the Otsutsuki family, was released. 10 Tails' feet touched the ground, the terrifying volume of the sky above his head. Like a drink sucked in by a straw, it poured into Uchiha Madara's body quickly. Such a disgusting picture was seen by the ninja allied forces, especially many ninjas in the 5 great ninja villages, and it was immediately associated with an incident that happened in their own ninja village. Inject the tail beast into Jinchuriki. That, 10, can 10 Tails also exist as Jinchuriki? Originally Uchiha Madara was the strongest person in the Sengoku era, but now 10 Tails is added. Everyone can't believe how strong Uchiha Madara will be if it becomes like this. 297 experienced this war. It's not just the old ninjas like Onoki who have survived the Sengoku era. Even young people like Konoha Xiaoqiang have seen Uchiha Madara's fierceness. Now 10 Tails, a collection of 9 big-tailed beasts, has been absorbed by him. I can't imagine how strong he can be. Master Everbright, why did you just? Uchiha Quan looked at Yèyuè Guāng's back with a puzzled face. Although at the moment Yèyuè Guāng appeared, Uchiha Madara was ready to be the sealing ceremony of 10 Tails Jinchuriki. But with her understanding of Yèyuè Guāng, at the speed of the other party, there is absolutely time to stop it. Cut weeds and roots at once, I don't want to have a chance to experience this kind of ruin again in the future. Yèyuè Guāng took a step with his back to the 2 girls. Let everyone else evacuate, as far as possible, it's best to evacuate to the other side of the earth. Yes. Hinata and Uchiha Quan did not hesitate at all, and flashed in front of the ninja allied forces, conveying the meaning of Yèyuè Guāng. Advertisement had it not been for Uchiha Izumi, Namikaze Minato and Senju Tobarama used Flying Thunder God to transfer tailed beast bomb. The allied forces of the Ninth World were afraid that the group would have been destroyed in the hands of 10 Tails a long time ago. Now Yèyuè Guāng, the supreme commander of the coalition forces, ordered this. Even though some of the coalition forces are unwilling, they are faced with an absolute power gap. You can only retreat obediently. Yèyuè Guāng looked forward again. 10 Tails, nearly a kilometer tall, has disappeared. Instead, there is a brand new Uchiha Madara with the same pale skin tone as the Otsutsuki clan, with a truth-seeking ball floating on the back, and holding a tin rod. Is this the power of 6 paths? It's more powerful than imagined. Feeling the endless chakra contained in the body, even with Uchiha Madara's unyielding character, I can't help but feel so emotional. Immediately, Uchiha Madara looked up at the full moon in the sky and curled his lips. Scream, it will take a while to summon the moon. Then before 6 paths Madara smiled slightly and waved the tin stick in her hand to Yèyuè Guāng. Let you be the test subject of my 6 paths power. As the reincarnation of Indra with the attributes of fighting madness, Uchiha Madara, who has now gained new power, can't wait to show off his current capabilities. Puff. Looking at Uchiha Madara like this, Yèyuè Guāng almost didn't spit out a smile. Are you still happy to be such a person, not a ghost, or a ghost? That's all you want to say? Uchiha Madara's eyes were dim. It doesn't matter what the appearance is. It doesn't matter, Baffa. To me or to human beings all over the world. As long as the moon comes, the world will usher in true peace. I am not interested in real peace or anything. I only know that this world created by me and led by me. I am very satisfied. I don't need anyone to talk about it. Yèyuè Guāng's expression suddenly became extremely ferocious. Even if he had already obtained the power of 6 paths, his strength was close to that of Sage of 6 Paths' 6 Paths Madara. He subconsciously twisted his eyebrows. Black Zetsu, don't you? Immediately afterwards, Yèyuè Guāng's next sentence made 6 Paths Madara stunned. What? Black Zetsu? What happened to Black Zetsu as his own body? Just when 6 Paths Madara was puzzled. Advertisement. Black Zetsu is like a bone-bound maggot, wrapped around the half of 6 Paths Madara's body. Black Zetsu, what are you doing? If Yèyuè Guāng said just now, it was just a pity for 6 Paths Madara. So now, he is completely stupid. Black Zetsu, who is his own body, actually shot himself. And what's even more incredible is that as the second sage of 6 Paths, I can't resist the small possession technique like Black Zetsu. Do you know my true identity? Did you know it from Hamura? Black Zetsu's tone was full of puzzles, but he didn't think much about it at the moment, and sneered at 6 Paths Madara. It's a pity, Madara. I originally planned to let the two of you kill each other and then resurrect your mother, but I didn't expect that even my identity would be seen through. In this case, I would have to do it in advance. You, what are you talking about, Black Zetsu? Feeling Black Zetsu's chakra pouring into her body, 6 Paths Madara was incredible. You were made by me, my will. Why would you can't move your body? What kind of technique is this? HMPH, I am not your will, but Kaguya's will. Black Zetsu sneered again, and then looked up at Yèyuè Guāng. But, are you crazy? To sit and watch me devour Madara, is it overconfidence in the new power he has gained? Ha ha ha, this is okay, Yèyuè Guāng smiled brightly. Because your mother is weaker than Madara. You called out a weaker enemy. Why should I stop it? Black Zetsu's complexion changed, and then endless anger came to his heart. What does this B***** D say? Weak. My mother, who says she respects and loves, is weak. A whole thing. Black Zetsu, who was originally a villain and virtuous, turned his mood sharply, and activated technique amidst the painful howling of 6 Paths Madara. The body of 6 Paths Madara also changed rapidly due to the erosion of Black Zetsu chakra. Chapter 196 I Can't Appreciate Your Beauty, second more seeking subscription. Uchiha Madara's roar in pain, his body is also changing rapidly. The content of chakra has increased exponentially. In the end, in the overwhelming chakra impact, it turned into a floating in the air. Dressed in an incredible white kimono for women, she exudes a woman with a temperament that is hard to describe in words. What's the matter? Madara's chakra in one breath has increased several times. Senju Tobirama, who was assisting the ninja allied forces in the retreat, shouted unbelievably with his pervert-level chakra perception ability. Hinata turned his head and looked in the direction of the battlefield. The pair of Tensigen could penetrate thousands of miles. Looking at the situation on the battlefield, you can see that the opponent Yèyuè Guāng is facing has changed from Uchiha Madara to a strange woman. Hinata's expression suddenly changed at the same time. So, what is going on with this chakra volume? Stronger than Uchiha Madara just now. Now I can only believe in Master Everbright, let's retreat for now. Uchiha Spring said. She does not have Senju Tobirama's pervert perception ability, nor Hinata's clairvoyance. Yes, it is just absolute trust in Yèyuè Guāng. Hinata also nodded. Although she has withdrawn from the battlefield for more than a few miles, she is very clear that this is far from enough. Like a pool of sewage, Black Zetsu peeked out of Kagayaji's wide left sleeve, with an almost crazy ecstasy in his tone. It's been too long, the mother is finally resurrected. In the next second, Black Zetsu's conversation turned sharply, and he sneered at Yèyuè Guāng. Boy, you're finished. Yèyuè Guāng shrugged. Okay, you said yes. The resurrected Kagayaji did not keep his eyes on Yèyuè Guāng for long. Look at the full moon above the dark night. After a while, he said with the voice that seemed to be non-human. The moon hasn't fallen to where it should be. Even without relying on the moon, Kagayaji can still use infinite Tsukuyomi. But if she wants to project the scope of this technique to the whole world, she still has to use the moon to refract. Black Zetsu hurriedly responded. Advertisement, I'm sorry, mother, because the plan is not perfect, but as long as you kill this kid, you can end everything. As soon as he said this, Kagayaji finally turned his attention to Yèyuè Guāng. Baikugan's eye sockets rose slightly. I didn't perceive the chakra breath of the Otsutsuki clan from the opponent. Is this kind of person the first obstacle to breaking through the seal? It's incredible. Although I rarely shoot at women, things are different now. Yèyuè Guāng pinched his chin with one hand and looked at Kagayaji's face. After a while, he shook his head with disappointment and commented. Sure enough, I can't appreciate the ghost-like looks of your Otsutsuki clan. I really don't know what those fanatics I saw before took you as a wife. Kagayaji and Black Zetsu naturally did not understand the second half of Yèyuè Guāng, but they still understood the first half. Is scolding her, goddess of Mao, Otsutsuki Kagaya Wang Cho. Even though the mentality of Otsutsuki Kagaya is vastly different from that of ordinary human beings, he is still female. I heard Yèyuè Guāng's comment. The killing intent emanating from the pair of Byakugan instantly crushed everything on the ground and spread towards Yèyuè Guāng. Hey, seeing that coercion alone is enough to suppress the impact of the peak cage level until it is in front of him. Yèyuè Guāng let out a sneer, his eyes filled with blue, and the sacred light merged with the thunder, supporting him. The next moment that the White Fang coercion was blocked, he was actually backlashed back. The entire Thunder Country trembled fiercely. It's just an appetizer, it's already so scary. Kagaya Ji Shuibai, even her pale face, didn't have the initial coldness. She realized that this man might be the biggest obstacle to her big plans. But she still didn't understand. An earthling without the power of Otsutsuki. Why is there such a power? Call out, how noble do you think the bloodline of your troublemaker? Yèyuè Guāng suddenly disappeared in place. Feeling that there is no time difference, it flashes to the side of Kagaya Ji's left hand. -0 seeking flowers. 0 advertisement. The thunder gun that emits holy light is already in the palm of his hand. The gun of 2 billion volts thunder, pi, dang. When the thunder gun was half a meter away from Otsutsuki Kaguya's forehead, Yèyuè Guāng suddenly saw the world in front of him completely change. The endless huge ice block completely freezes herself and Kagaya Ji. Looking around, you can see through at a glance, this is not the original world at all. Heaven's imperial middle is the blood following the snare? In just a moment, the explosion of thunder smashed the surrounding ice cubes that covered almost the entire space. Yèyuè Guāng looked up at the surrounding scene. Can you change the environment from a young age? Cooperate with the power of nature to increase the power of the technique to the extreme. Furthermore, coupled with the special environmental factors, I can't use such moves as Iron Sand and Thunder Giant. The guy Black Zetsu told you my information. The moment Yèyuè Guāng's voice fell, the ice space trembled sharply. The violent current overflows and turns into an endless grid, coiled in this world. But do you think this level can do me anything? 3 billion volters welcome. The spreading grid forms a planet-like sphere, enclosing both sides in it. Keep shrinking, then shrink again, until everything in the sphere except Yèyuè Guāng is destroyed. Let's change the space again and try to transfer these minds together. Facing Yèyuè Guāng's provocation, Kagaya frowned slightly. Yèyuè Guāng is undoubtedly the first person to have such an attitude towards being the ancestor of genuine chakra. Mother, according to my information, that kid doesn't have space capabilities. The moment Black Zetsu finished saying this, the space behind Kagayaheim suddenly tore like a mouth. Utilizing the floating ability of gravitational and repulsive force to retract into it, the gap closes extremely quickly. Yèyuè Guāng raised his eyebrows and looked at the place where Kagaya Ji disappeared. After half a second, he couldn't help but bow and laugh. Ha ha ha. Shut me down here. As expected of Black Zetsu, it's like a trick that Lao Yinbi can use. End. Chapter 197. Hinata and Izumi. Kaguya's sense of sight, first more seeking subscription. Is this the truth back then? At a position more than 50 miles away from the main battlefield, Namikaze Minato, Rin Nohara, Kakashi and others learned from Uchiha Obito that the Battle of the Shinsubi Bridge was in the past. Uchiha Obito did not die, but was rescued by Uchiha Madara and the subsequent series of tragedies caused by Lin's death. Even dreaming about killing Konan, who is the leader of Uchiha, can't help feeling that things are really impermanent. He and Nagato have been used by Uchiha Obito for many years. And why isn't Uchiha Obito being played by Uchiha Madara between applause? After using the revolving heaven technique, he can no longer survive. But with emotion, Konan is not the Madonna of Naruto who killed his parents to restore the other side's forgiveness, indifferently took back the detonation talisman in his hand, and said coldly. There is no need for me to take action, he will be, 300, to die right away. Obito, you are so stupid. Rin Nohara, who was only 12 years old, knelt down beside Uchiha Obito. Holding the other's left hand with her hands made of dust, she couldn't help but burst into tears. Lin, me? Only in front of Rin Nohara, the Uchiha leader will change from that pretentious posture back to his old dog-licking attributes. The situation with Wooden Golem is very bad, Samui shouted suddenly. At this moment, the 5 Jinchuriki were placed side by side on the ground. Their expressions were painful and even distorted. Their Jinchuriki was pulled away, although the tailed beasts all left behind a part of the tailed beast chakra in their bodies at the time of the final 1,000 fishing. But that's just a life-saving medicine. If you really want to survive, you must snatch the tail beast back into their bodies as soon as possible. Suddenly, an endless chakra made the faces of all the ninjas on the scene fuse. Even if it is not a perceptual ninja, it can be detected. Because it is too scary, why is Dusan not here? Through Tensigen, the scene of Kagaya Ji flying out of the different space was seen, and Hinata cried out incredible. Seeing Kagaya Ji began to float to the sky, Hinata instantly realized that the other party was planning to use infinite Tsukuyomi. Stop her. At this moment, Hinata didn't have time to think too much. Rushed towards the battlefield in one leap. Seeing this, Uchihaquan also chased up. In addition to the two, Senju Hashirama, Senju Tobarama, and Namikaze Minato, who are the most powerful forces in the Genin world, also planned to follow. But helplessly, the speed of the two girls was so fast that they couldn't catch up. Advertisement: if it is alive, there may be a slight possibility. Relying on impure world reincarnation, this body was unable to display all its strengths during his lifetime. There are not many capable things. Kagaya-ji floated to a position more than a kilometer away from the ground, looking at the moon that was so huge that it almost hit the ground. The reincarnation of the eyebrows Sharingan opened slowly. Black Zetsu smiled triumphantly. Mother, this distance is enough to release infinite Tsukuyomi. Kagaya-ji was silent, and turned her head up, ready to launch infinite Tsukuyomi. Rebirth Jade. It's at this last critical juncture. A green ball of light hits from below. Feel the yin and yang breath contained in it. Kagaya-ji dodged sideways, then waved her hand. Break it away with coercion. Black Zetsu, whose cuffs were like sewage, saw Hinata below, and his eyebrows tightened and shouted. A girl who has the same eyes as Hamura, is it going to get in the way at this time? Sword of Sun Luo Wanxiang. Behind him, Susanoo, a huge dark gray body, suddenly rose. The Miao Dao in his hand slashed down. However, for Kagaya-ji, the size is nothing at all. 80 God's airstrike. Kagaya-ji waved his hand indifferently, and the chakra that flew out with the palm turned into a fist silhouette in the middle. The size of each punch is comparable to that of Susanoo. Susanoo, the perfect body of Uchiha Izumi, was hit by the 80 Kamika. It is as if Uchiha Madara's 9 Tails of Suzu was defeated by Senju Hashirama's Shinsu Senju. He was beaten out directly. Uchiha Izumi reluctantly used the Flying Thunder God to escape from the complete body Susanoo, which avoided fatal injuries. What a terrible opponent. Susanoo is like paper in front of her. Uchiha Spring's heart fell beside Hinata with a lingering fear. Where is Yèyuè? Hinata raised her head and shouted. The shyness and tenderness in daily life have disappeared, and the body is full of irritating aura. 0. Advertisement. That guy, he will stand alone in the space created by his mother to death. Black Zetsu made a mockery of death. Tensigen of Hinata unleashes even more terrifying power. The green light rising from the surface of the body, chakra is like a flame enveloping the whole body. Tensigen form. This girl has even learned this. Black Zetsu was also taken aback. Silver wheel reincarnation explodes. Hinata put his hands together, palms facing each other. The profound meaning of gravity released from the center of the two palms looks like a tornado, but in fact it is an endless twisting gravity. All the things that have been affected will be killed. Tengai Shinsei. Uchiha Izumi also called out the second form Susanoo without showing any weakness, and signed together with Suzuo. Above the clouds, a super-large meteorite was summoned. After watching Uchiha Madara's moves once, Uchiha Quan copied it. The lower part is the reincarnation explosion of the silver wheel, and the upper part is Tengai Shinsei. Even Senju Hashirama, who stepped into the Six Paths class half of his life, is choking in comparison with this trick, right? However, compared to Senju Hashirama, Kagaya in front of him has no idea how strong it is. There was no trace of fear on her calm face. See Uchiha Spring with Rinnegan and Yèyuè Hinata with Tensigen below. Although they are girls, 5.0 can't help but associate their figures with the memories of Otsutsuki Hagoromo and Otsutsuki Hamura. Mother. At this time, an anxious cry from Black Zetsu finally pulled Kagaya-ji back from his memory. Kagaya-ji's expression was shocked, and then, centered on her own body. The pure black sphere keeps expanding and then expanding. Whether it is the reincarnation explosion of the silver wheel below, or the Tengai Shinsei above. At the moment they touched, they were all annihilated into nothingness. Swelling truth-seeking ball. My god, is this the strength of the person who eats the chakra fruit? Through Rinnegan Tsukuyomi, Uchiha Izumi, who got the final contents of the slate in the basement of Uchiha Nanga Shrine, expected the strength of Kagaya, but he didn't expect it to be so terrifying. Also, is there any way to beat her? Chapter 198 Split the Excalibur of Truth-Seeking Ball, second more seeking subscription. Black Zetsu poked a forehead out of Kagaya-ji's left sleeve, offering his teeth with a smile and said. I can force my mother to use the truth-seeking ball. You are a bit capable, but that's the end of it. Obediently watch infinite Tsukuyomi come. After taunting, Black Zetsu turned to Kagaya and said. Mother, in order to prevent these two girls from making trouble, let's deal with them first before using infinite Tsukuyomi. Kagaya-ji did not speak to answer, but Ji-Yin's hands instead of her mouth confirmed her thoughts. God Tree World is born. Compared with Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara, the tree births are even more exaggerated and huge, and the roots of the trees with a wider range broke out of the ground. The moment Hinata and Uchiha Spring jumped up and avoided. Those tree roots looked like creatures catching prey, and they turned their heads to track them up. Even with its own tracking function, Uchiha Izumi was surprised. 10. No, they acted in the direction of Chakra's breath. Hinata raised his hands, 36 God airstrikes. Swinging the same divine airstrike as Kagaya-ji just now, he smashed the roots of the divine tree that was chasing him. Uchiha Quan also used Susanoo again, cutting off all the vines with the sealing knife in his hand. But even so, the roots of the sacred tree that rose from the ground still flooded them endlessly. Trouble, she is ready to use infinite Tsukuyomi again. Uchiha Spring, who caught the gap, raised his head and looked up at the sky. I found that Kagaya-ji started to move towards the moon in the sky again, and while gritting her teeth and shouting, countless tree roots continued to flow in and entangled her Susanoo's left foot. Uchiha Izumi had no choice but to continuously cut off these annoying roots with a knife. Solve them all at once. The reincarnation jade around Hinata's body was condensed in Hinata's palm, and it quickly slashed a golden sword that rose and stretched continuously. Under the shining of this golden light, Kagaya-ji's movements were interrupted again. Himura's stunts will be troublesome if that girl grows up. Black Zetsu's face was full of jealousy. Golden wheel reincarnation explodes. The moment Hinata swung down the golden lightsaber, the endless roots of the sacred tree started to be uprooted and could no longer regenerate. As the ultimate profundity of repulsion, the golden wheel reincarnation explodes, and can even cut the moon. But because Hinata is not yet proficient in this trick, he can't do it to such an exaggerated level. Advertisement, but even so, it is enough to eliminate the god tree world birth. Listening to what the other party said just now, Yèyuè seems to be trapped in a space similar to Kamui. After destroying the sacred tree, Hinata returned to the topic. Quan, your time and space ninjutsu, can you save Duosang out? Uchiha Spring relieved Susanoo and fell beside Wei Tian. Lu Mei frowned and said. Rinnegan can also open the time and space, but I don't know which space the ancestor of chakra shut the Guang master in. If I can touch her and perceive her chakra, I should be able to search with Rinnegan's pupil power. Then I'll be the main attacker. Quan, you look for a chance. The moment Hinata's voice fell, in the Tensigen mode, it exploded with a speed of 6 paths. But in an instant, he appeared in front of Kagayaheim. At the same time, the soil under his feet turned into a rock giant comparable to the complete body Susanoo mentioned, and punched Kagaya-ji on the other side. Another ability of Tensigen is the power to give life to the dead. As long as Tensigen is not destroyed, these non-living creatures can continue to regenerate and fight. It's meaningless. 2 words were faintly uttered from Kagaya-ji's mouth. 2 bone spurs suddenly appeared in the palm of his hand. It looks like Kimamero's dead bone pulse, but also like the chakra black stick used by Uchiha Madara and Pain. Kill the ashes. The bone spurs ejected from the palm seemed unremarkable, but the moment they hit the rock giant on the side, they were annihilated and could not be regenerated. The other bone spur shot at Hinata, Rebirth Jade. Compared with the truth-seeking ball, it is slightly inferior in power, but the victory lies in the large number of green light balls hitting the bone spurs. Under the continuous release, it was finally offset. God Airstrike. God Airstrike. In the next moment, both sides resorted to the same move. The huge chakra fists continued to collide in midair. It's almost accompanied by the shouts of, Oiler Oiler, and, Wooden Big. Opportunity is here. Uchiha Izumi took out all the flying thunder gods that he had configured and threw them out, and then quickly sealed. Advertisement. Shuriken Shadow Clone. Dozens of flying thunder god kunai turned into thousands of numbers during the flight. Like a torrential rain, it spread to Kagayaheim. And Uchiha Quan, relying on this almost endless flying thunder god kunai, constantly shuttles to different locations in the air. With the left hand secretly running the power of yin, Rinnegan's pupil technique is ready to open the door of time and space. Mother. The other little girl seems to be making some calculations. Kodo Sergeant Black Zetsu reminds again the huge truth-seeking ball continues to expand like a bulging balloon again. Whether it's Hinata's reincarnation jade, or Uchiha Spring's 300 flying thunder god kunai, the moment you touch this thing, they all resemble human beings, and they are instantly crushed into dust. Damn it. This trick again. Uchiha Spring couldn't help but cursed and angrily. Is there no way to take this truth-seeking ball? Boom? Just when the 2 girls felt helpless. Expansion above the truth-seeking ball, there suddenly sounded something similar to Whitebeard shock fruit, which seemed to break the air. Hinata and Uchiha Spring looked up. It was found that in the upper position, the air was like glass, cracked and broken. Something came out of it. That seems to be the point of a sword? Jump, air. No, the whole space is shattered, under the surprised and happy eyes of Hinata and Uchiha Quan. Yèyuè Guāng jumped out of the shattered space, holding up the Olympus Excalibur with both hands, a sword of thunder that burst out of spiritual power. The front image is still getting bigger and swelling. The truth-seeking ball is chopped and chopped. Try getting bigger. Yèyuè Guāng gave a grin. Whether it is the reincarnation explosion of the silver wheel or the Tengai Shinsei, the truth-seeking ball can be expanded. In front of the Olympus Excalibur, like tofu, it was easily torn apart. Chapter 199. Even mosquitoes are immune to death. First more seeking subscription. Puff, boom. The azure aura was added to the Kamui thunder, and at the moment of piercing through the space, it slashed directly on the swelling truth-seeking ball. It makes the super cage level and even the 6 pads level inflatable truth-seeking ball, which is as fragile as a balloon. Only at the moment of touching, it splits the whole sea. Kagaya-ji and Black Zetsu inside pass through the gap and see Yèyuè Guāng, who is grinning from above. His eyes were filled with surprise. How did you come out of Mother's space? Black Zetsu shouted in disbelief. Whether it is Kamui of Obito or Rinnegan of Uchiha Spring. It takes a lot of time and chakra to find a return route from countless different spaces. Not to mention that Yèyuè Guāng does not know time and space ninjutsu at all. FK lousy. The moment Yèyuè Guāng held the sword in his right hand and raised his left hand, The falling thunder from above the sky fell and covered the palm of the night moonlight. The next moment, the moment he waved his hand, thunder broke out and slashed on Kagaya-ji, causing the opponent to fall directly to the ground. However, it only took less than half a second to fall from midair to the ground. Kagaya-ji's wound has begun to heal, Yèyuè. Master Everbright, Hinata and Uchiha Kwan came up from left to right in surprise. That dark guy, pay attention to it. Yèyuè Guāng now has no spare energy to talk and laugh with these two girls. Compared to Otsutsuki Kagaya, he is more like killing Black Zetsu, which is 1,000 years old. This guy's ability to escape is superb. Yèyuè Guāng didn't want to keep this scourge. Once he ran away, the ghost knew what would happen again in the future. The two women converged their expressions of surprise, and their faces were solemn. Tensigen and Rinnegan stared at Kagaya-ji's left cuff below. Below, Kagaya-hime stood up from a new stand. Whether it is the generous female kimono, or the pale snowy skin, they are stained with dust and dirt. Advertisement, but most of the wound on his body has healed. Is the immortal body that ate the fruit of the sacred tree? Yèyuè Guāng said with imaginary eyes. Compared to the old age, he had to use chi technique to hang his two sons. She is the real immortal. As a result, the prince and two pillars in the original work had to be sealed with 6 paths planetary devastation and could not be killed directly. But in the end, it's just that their attacks are not strong enough. Me and those guys are different. The originally half-empty eyes suddenly widened, and the Olympus Excalibur in his right hand exploded with shockwaves that made heaven and earth tremble. Damn it, how can I force my mother to this level? I felt Yèyuè Guāng emanating from his body, vaguely even suppressing his own mother's energy. Black Zetsu can never imagine how a 30-year-old guy without the blood of Otsutsuki can be so strong. Mother, the only threat now is this guy. Infinite Tsukuyomi can wait to kill him before preparing. Don't keep chakra now. Black Zetsu, the dog's head soldier, has another idea. After being beaten so embarrassed by Yèyuè Guāng, Kagaya-ji was also unable to maintain the indifference and calmness on her original face. Eduozen. The flow of chakra in that woman's body has changed. Hinata exclaimed. But in an instant, Kagaya-ji's body swelled rapidly. In an instant, it turned into a giant brow with the same reincarnation as her, Sharingan, fierce facial features. The head of the 9-headed beast was reflected in the swelling ball supported by the back. The color and appearance are as pale as 10 tails. But the appearance has to be ignored, and it releases a more exaggerated amount of chakra. Is this the tail animalization of Otsutsuki Kagaya? Uchiha Kwan blocked his hands in front of him to resist the shockwave released by this jade rabbit like 10 tails. She is coming. Hinata reminded again. The moment the voice fell, endless arms rushed out of the surface of Yutu 10-tails' body and grabbed them at the 3 of them. Uchiha Spring and Hinata walk sideways in Susanoo and Tensigen modes, respectively. That thing exudes an aura that makes me creepy. Uchiha Izumi raised his index fingers and middle fingers in both hands and crossed them to make a cross. Fire-style shadow clone technique. The flames escaping from the body surface turned into 2 fire-style shadow clones, and in the next instant they also used full-body Susanoo. Advertisement waving the wings behind him, he slashed the knife straight at 10 tails. However, endless arms came out from behind, grabbing the 2 complete Susanoo. It's just the moment of contact. Stronger than Susanoo, also lost resistance. It is directly pulled into the body of Yutu 10 tails and becomes her nourishment. Is it over if I bump into it? Seeing this, Uchiha Kwan hurriedly pulled away and launched a long-range attack with a sword slash. But even if I cut off the opponent's arm that is more exaggerated than Shinsu Senju, the arm will regenerate immediately like a paste. I have to admit that it is simply invincible. Golden Wheel reincarnation explodes. Hinata used his strongest profound meaning now. The power is very close to that of the original Otsutsuki, that kid who split the moon. Suddenly, on the back of Jade Rabbit 10 tails, 1 to 9 heads of 9-tailed beasts began to release the Tailed Beast Bomb. 9-tailed beast bombs unite together, and a shockwave of Tailed Beast Bomb erupts. Collided with Hinata's Golden Wheel reincarnation. The resulting shock made the ninja allied forces who had withdrawn for more than tens of miles once again felt the feeling of the end of the world coming. This, good, is too exaggerated, right? Jiraiya put a hand in front of him, not to mention the chakra attack mixed in the shockwave. The hurricane that caused him just made him feel that his scalp was about to be blown off. It feels like my battle with Madara looked like a pediatrician. Senju Hashirama couldn't help but sigh that he, the god of Ninja World, was resurrected once, and it was a loss of face. Roar, Yutu 10 tails let out a low growl. Did you finally kill one? At this level, even mosquitoes can't be killed. Suddenly the ridicule echoed in the ears, the face of Kagaya-ji in the form of tail beasts fused. Turning his head and looking in the direction of the sound. However, he saw Yèyuè Guāng holding Hinata Tower in his arms with his left hand and holding the Olympus Excalibur with his right hand. His face was full of sarcasm. Skin. Chapter 200 I will give you as much pleasure as possible, second more seeking subscription. For the woman Otsutsuki Kagaya, Yèyuè Guāng doesn't have any special opinions. At least it is better than her filial son Sage of 6 Paths who has been obsessed with the world after she died. But even so, Yèyuè Guāng did not intend to let him go. It is impossible for Kagaya-ji to be willing to succumb to work under her command like wooden golem. Many of the Naruto heroes I've seen in previous lives want to be Otsutsuki Hagoromo's behavior is outrageous. Kagaya-ji is an nymphomaniac who will be attacked by other men after being cheated by her son. Although I don't hate you, but this world only needs a ruler. The aura of the Olympus divine sword in Yèyuè Guāng's hand burst out. Not to mention that Yèyuè Guāng itself is truly in the realm of God. Kagaya, a demigod, who only eats chakra fruit, is far less pure than him. So, I will give you as much pleasure as possible, okay? Yèyuè Guāng said that he wanted to kill Kagaya-ji as if he was giving him great mercy. But Kagaya-ji was angry at the moment. 300 There is also a vocabulary that she can't describe. Fear. She didn't understand what this emotion was. It's because she never felt it. Even thousands of years ago, when it was sealed by two filial sons, Otsutsuki Hagoromo and Otsutsuki Hamura. Kagaya-ji felt only the sorrow and endless regret and anger of being betrayed by her son. Only, there is no feeling of fear, because even those two filial sons can't really kill themselves. You can only seal yourself, and in front of me, this inferior race, who doesn't even have the blood of the Otsutsuki clan. It really gave Kagaya-ji a feeling that she would die in his hands. Roar, roar. In the form of Yèyuè 10 tails, Kagaya-ji let out a snarling roar. The heads of the 9-tailed beasts on the back also echoed with their faces struggling to heal. Advertisement: as long as you touch it, endless tentacles that can swallow your target and turn it into your own nourishment gush out. This time, they ignored the nearby Uchiha Spring and Yèyuè, Baffa, Hinata, and they only targeted Yèyuè Guāng alone. Just like a monster in the myth of Cthulhu, if you don't completely swallow the opponent, you will not stop. Face endless tentacles. Yèyuè Guāng stayed unmoved and moved forward, letting those tentacles wrap themselves like dumplings. About half a second later, the domineering sky thunder bursts the balloon like endless water, smashing those tentacles into debris. Even this can't help him. Black Zetsu, hidden in Kagayaheim in the form of a tailed beast, witnessed all this in his eyes. Yèyuè Guāng is far beyond the two bastards of Yuya and Yumura. I have to say that Kagaya-ji's combat experience is really bad. As the ancestor of chakra, she used to crush the past no matter what opponent she faced in the past. Never understand strategy and tactics. Once you encounter an opponent that is evenly matched with oneself, even stronger than one's own, her mentality collapsed immediately. Maybe Six Paths Madara is more difficult to deal with than her. This is why Yèyuè Guāng sat and watched Black Zetsu's sneak attack on Six Paths Madara to revive Kagaya-ji. Sure enough, compared to Six Paths Madara, who is good at dirty methods, the pure Kagaya-ji is much better. You two get ready. Yèyuè Guāng spoke coldly. The two daughters Hinata and Uchiha Izumi on both sides of the back heard the words. Without further questioning, they knew what the other party meant just by hearing Yèyuè Guāng's words. One yang and one yin, two diametrically opposed chakras, emerged from the bodies of the two young girls who owned Tensigen and Rinnegan. Coupled with Yèyuè Guāng, Black Zetsu, who has already raised his sword, the 1,000-year-old bachelor has guessed what the three people want to do. Those two little girls were planning to wait for the last moment when Yèyuè Guāng killed her mother, and used Hakata Yumura's power to force the 9-headed beast out of her mother's body. After all, if Yèyuè Guāng were to kill Kagaya-ji, the 9-tailed beasts would also die. It will be reborn in a few years or even longer. In that way, Yèyuè Guāng's Jinchurikika is dead. Advertisement: Mother, there is no time to hesitate, kill them with the last resort. Black Zetsu knew very well that Yèyuè Guāng was playing for real, and he didn't dare to keep his hands anymore, so he hurriedly offered strategies as a dog-headed strategist. Yèyuè 10 tails' body swelled. The truth-seeking ball overflowing from the body, the moment it reappears, the body shape far exceeds the 10 tails body. Final Yan truth-seeking ball. Even with the strength of Kagaya-ji, goddess of Mao, this trick is quite dangerous. Turning everything in the world into nothingness, the taboo technique is the starting point of a new world, finally truth-seeking ball. Even the great names of various countries who had taken refuge thousands of miles away felt a sense of suffocation at this moment. Could it be the end of the world? The same thought came up in everyone's mind in Naruto World at this moment. Faced with the truth-seeking ball, who had wiped out everything in the world, Yèyuè Guāng looked as cold as after. Hold the handle of the Olympus Excalibur with both hands. A dazzling beam of holy light rushed straight into the sky, turning into a 10,000-meter-long beam of holy light, breaking through the sky and even the atmosphere. At this moment, if someone can look down on the earth, on the moon, or in the universe, then you can see a straight beam of light rushing out, as if to penetrate the entire planet. At this moment, whether it is Terumi Mei and Nokura on the border of the battlefield, or Haruno Sakura, the daimyo who took refuge in the village far away, as long as you look up, you can see the beam of light that seems to pierce the planet, and then, falling down, the divine sword's holy light beam fell, shrouded in the truth-seeking ball. It was like the impact of a spear and a shield, when the two sides collided. I didn't imagine the explosion that made the whole world deaf. The non-interesting collision of the two sides carried the absolute power of vowing to annihilate each other from nothingness. In the end, I don't know how long the stalemate lasted. The Excalibur light pillar suppressed the final truth-seeking ball, and gradually engulfed it, and finally, dissipated between heaven and earth. Chapter 201 The War is over, first more seeking subscription. The time for the Olympus Excalibur to suppress the final truth-seeking ball did not last long. But for a moment, he swallowed it completely. Eventually, the truth-seeking ball began to shrink rapidly, and finally dissipated completely between heaven and earth. And when someone looks down on this planet from the universe, you will find that a rather exaggerated area above this has broken to tionking. It's like those bumpy holes on the moon. Even if tens of thousands of Iwagakure ninjas are dispatched to repair this kind of thing, it is definitely not what Asashima can do. No, maybe it's better not to repair it. This can at least alert future generations to the cruel consequences of war. Hinata. Yèyuè Guāng's voice sounded again, which awakened Hinata. Quickly activate Tensagen's abilities and watch the bottomless abyss. I found it, it's time for us to take action, Sister Quan. Hinata jumped down. Yeah, I'm already ready. Uchiha Spring followed closely behind. Roar. The familiar roar of the beast came from the bottom of the abyss, as if eager to break free from the chains bound to the body. Struggling to get out of this bottomless abyss, in a sense, Ten Tails and Kagaya can be equated. But after all, Ten Tails is not the Kagaya deity, it has its own consciousness. If possible, it naturally does not want to be controlled by Kagaya-ji. Seeing that the vitality of Otsutsuki Kagaya has also reached its limit. Naturally, she didn't hesitate to break through the bondage of this woman to her body. Hinata cooperated with Uchiha Spring to float to the left and right of the runaway Ten Tails. Looking at this twisted and pure monster, his eyes were slightly vacant, and he said coldly, "You have already failed." The moment the voice fell, the two girls exchanged glances and stretched out their right hand to cover Ten Tails. It is different from the Six Paths, planetary devastation used in the two columns of Six Paths Naruto and Six Paths in the original work. Advertisement. Although it also has the power of Six Paths, Uchiha Spring is relying on the power obtained by transplantation, and cannot perfectly cooperate with Hinata to use Six Paths, planetary devastation. But if only the power of Yin and the power of Hinata are used to force the nine-tailed beasts out, it can still be done. Or, compared with the body of Ten Tails, which is a kilometer in height, the two girls who are no more than 6 meters tall are as small as ants. But the moment they covered Ten Tails' body with their hands, they made this wild beast let out a heart-piercing cry. The Ten Tails dancing wildly behind him broke apart and quickly turned into the original nine-tailed beast. Even the awkward Nine Tails can't help but look up at Yèyuè Guāng, who is looking upwards, feeling from the bottom of his heart. I didn't expect that not only the old man, but even Kagaya-ji would be caught. It's useless to talk about it. Go to Jinchuriki and get back into their bodies before they die. Yèyuè Guāng responded with an indifferent expression. The next moment he wielded the Olympus Excalibur again, like a falling star, approaching the body of Ten Tails that began to change back to the ghetto statue. And Kagaya-hime, who lost 90% of her strength, I said, give you a happy one. Yèyuè Guāng showed no mercy on his expression, and without hesitation, he would pierce the Olympus Excalibur to hide Kagaya-jina on the body of the large women's kimono. That sword can really kill the mother, never let him do it. Black Zetsu, who was forced to get out of Kagaya-ji's cuff due to the impact of the Olympus Excalibur just now, saw this scene change in shock. Now we must find a way to save the mother's life, even if it is sealed again, it doesn't matter. Waiting for decades, at most hundreds of years. After the D Yèyuè Guāng died, he would think of a way to resurrect his mother. Where else do you want to run? However, the huge dark gray Susanoo stands between Black Zetsu and Kagaya-hime. Because of the broken things you wrote on the Uchiha steel, how many people in Uchiha died, do you know? Ling Ran questioned Uchiha Quan's killing intent. Hinata in Tensagen mode also came behind Black Zetsu. Everyday's soft and pretty face is full of coldness at the moment, please realize, you have no way to escape. You two stinky girls. Black Zetsu's expression became especially sordid in an instant. Although the main force is Yèyuè Guāng, if the two girls are not mixing the water in the middle, the mother can start infinite Tsukuyomi in advance. -0 seeking flowers. 0 at that time, even if Yèyuè Guāng is strong, but under the shining of infinite Tsukuyomi, he will only be the mother puppet of the Tree of God. Advertisement. Black Zetsu's hatred for Hinata and Uchiha Spring is no less than that for Yèyuè Guāng. You are just a piece of dust in the history of the shinobi that I made. Don't get in the way. Black Zetsu roared furiously and competently. It's just a humble villain behind the scenes, don't talk so much. Uchiha Quan yelled, controlling his body. Susanoo raised the sealing knife. Scylla sword. Killing so many people, there is no reason to let you go. .00 Tensagen mode. Hinata exploded with golden light on his right hand. Golden wheel reincarnation explodes. At the same moment, the Olympus Excalibur in Yèyuè Guāng's hand pierced Kagaya-ji's body. Kagaya-ji is dead, even if he has the same physical existence as the 9 big-tailed beasts, the original chakra. But Yèyuè Guāng is also a god, even higher than her existence. And Kagaya-ji, who is dead, cannot be reborn like a tailed beast after a few years or decades. Her power will be absorbed by the Olympus Excalibur. Be part of Yèyuè Guāng's power. The Otsutsuki clan is the beginning of everything. Yèyuè Guāng pierced Kagaya-ji's body with the divine sword held in his right hand, and held her shoulder with his left hand, and said with a calm expression, "Don't worry, I will send none of the people of this race to that world." Wow, Finally, with Yèyuè Guāng, the Olympus Excalibur was pulled out of the opponent's body. With a large amount of blood splashing down, Kagaya-ji who leaned back did not fall. Instead, it turned into a burst of light and blended into the sword body of the divine sword. And Black Zetsu, it's over. Playing conspiracy and tricks, maybe no one in this world can play him. But without occupying other people's bodies, Black Zetsu naturally has no fighting ability. And with the death of the mother and son, it means the complete end of this war of ninja world. The Ninja Allied Forces, or Yèyuè Guāng, won, and Chapter 202 The Power of Time and Space, the Naruto scroll is over. Wake up, wake up, a familiar voice echoed in his ears. When Naruto slowly opened his pupils, the first thing that caught his eye was the surprised and delighted faces of his father Namikaze Minato and teacher Kakashi. The sunset line in the early morning is in sight, good, beautiful scenery. Naruto thought from the bottom of his heart, Naruto. Namikaze Minato, who had just reimagined the ghouls and sent them into his son's body, showed the bright smile of the daily sunshine. This is the first time I told you. Happy birthday. After Naruto, Jinchuriki, such as Wooden Golem, Killer Bee, Gaara, and Kimimaro, all woke up. As the perfect Jinchuriki, they have a deep bond with the tail beast in their bodies. After being released from 10 tails, he expressed his willingness to return to them. However, 9 tails decided to return to Naruto's body, which was unexpected. After all, until the end of the war, 9 tails only chose to lend its strength to the opponent temporarily. Perhaps it was a hint of possibility in Naruto. In this way, the shinobi world can maintain peace for hundreds of years at least. Looking at the endless tionking in the distance, even if it is Fourth Raikage's combat-mad character, I can't help but sigh. This alert will alert future generations to the cruel existence of war. Yèyuè Guāng, who was surrounded by the women, heard this and couldn't help laughing and saying, "This is really not like you. Didn't you use the words, conquer the country of fire, all day long?" Cut. The old-fashioned B********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* Yèyuè Guāng, Laozi is not afraid, so what if you are strong? Not yet a cousin of Laozi, of course, I said this sentence silently in my heart. After all, I still dare not say it. You are now a hero in the ninja world. I believe there will be many girls who are beginning to love you, right? Terumi Mei suddenly spoke. This strange tone of yin and yang doesn't sound like a taste. How to say? The women of Yèyuè Guāng have different personalities, but they all share one characteristic. When it comes to emotional issues, I always like a wave of yin and yang. Whether it is the tearing queen Terumi Mei, the solemn and prudent Yi Kang, or even the obedient Azabui who puts himself in a low position. Sometimes I would say something strange to myself. Advertisement. Yèyuè Guāng quietly left the two little girls, Hinata and Uchihaquan, from the corner of his eye. The two of them won't do the same in the future, will they? But as soon as Terumi Mei spoke, the two girls deliberately turned their eyes to the other side. Can't see their current expressions. After a long fight, he returned to the subject. Senju Hashirama, the Senju Tobarama brother duo stepped up. Among them, Senju Tobarama, the developer of Impure World Reincarnation, frowned and looked at the many reincarnations who were bound by the sealing technique and twisted his eyebrows. It is troublesome for the casters of Impure World Reincarnation to be killed. This is equivalent to the reincarnation losing their restraints and being able to move freely. The follow-up method is to seal or directly destroy their bodies with ninjutsu. It's a small matter, Hinata. Yèyuè Guāng waved his hand. The blushing Hinata turned her head, and after nodding obediently, she made a seal very similar to the original Big Toad Sage. In an instant, it was like the opposite picture of Nagato resurrecting Konoha in the original work. The souls in a large number of Impure World reincarnations leave the body constructed of dust one by one. The soul ascended to heaven and began to return to the Pure Land. Impure World Reincarnation Solution. The original Pure Land rebirth was a move to pull people from the underworld back to this world. As long as it is used in reverse, the soul of the reincarnated person can be pulled out of the body. However, Hinata's trick can only be aimed at reincarnated reincarnators who are far behind her in strength. However, in terms of the current strength of Hinata, any emergency cage level belongs to the category of large difference in strength from her. Therefore, remove Senju Hashirama, such as Super Cage level, as well as Senju Tobarama, Namikaze Minato, and other powerful players who stepped into Super Cage level with 1 foot. Other miscellaneous fish in Pure World Reincarnation were all sent back to the Pure Land of the Underworld under Hinata's move. Then, next, please send us back to Lord 5th Generation. Namikaze Minato, who had finished his son's birthday, smiled and walked up. Father, are you leaving now? Naruto reluctantly said. Well, but your scary mother and I will always guard you over there. Namikaze Minato put a hand on Naruto's head and smiled. You still care about people in this world, don't you? When these words came out, Naruto suddenly thought of Uchiha Sasuke, who was far away in Konoha, unconscious. The bearded cheeks blushed involuntarily. Namikaze Minato saw this change in expression and was very pleased. Advertisement. It seems that this kid also has someone he likes. However, Namikaze Minato did not know that although people are human, they are not women. Konoha no, Shinobi, please. Senju Hashirama raised his fist to Yèyuè Guāng. He knew that Cloud Shinobi Village has a tradition of expressing trust in fists. I'm not interested in the trivial matters, but as I said to the old fox of Sage of Six Paths, this is my world. If anyone dares to deal with it, I will kill him. The corners of Yèyuè Guāng's mouth rose slightly, and finally he punched Senju Hashirama. The sun has completely risen to the horizon, and the sun of a new day shines on the earth. Yèyuè Guāng turned to look at the survivors of the Ninja Alliance army, took a deep breath, and roared. The war is over. The cheers resounded through the sky one after another. It symbolizes the coming of a new era of ninja. On a new day, Yèyuè Guāng opened the paper door and walked out of the room. Behind the tatami bed, Uchiha Quan smiled contentedly. After feeling the embrace of the side to leave, he put Yèyuè Guāng's pillow in his arms. She has developed a new habit recently and can't sleep if she doesn't hold anything. The power of time and space. Feeling the power of the new sense, Yèyuè Guāng, who was planning to take a shower, stopped consciously on the aisle and thought secretly. Just after Yèyuè Guāng himself didn't know how long he stood in the corridor, a beautiful figure suddenly walked from the corner and surprised Yèyuè Guāng. Are you silent when you walk? Yèyuè Guāng quietly closed the paper door with Uchiha Spring hidden behind him. I am pregnant. The girl who had already reached Uchiha Spring 5.0 forcibly resisted the urge to hack Yèyuè Guāng to death, and opened her mouth with such simple and crude words. Yèyuè Guāng. Yèyuè Guāng said that although he doesn't like wearing it, don't you also like to eat it? Yes, it's killing people. P.S. This is the end of Naruto. Thank you readers for your continued support. The next volume of the book will not be a migrant manga, but a kind of new season manga, which is a breakthrough that the author who has been writing about the dead fire all the time wants to try. In fact, the author has always wanted to try to synthesize daily essays, which is similar to the type of daily essays like Miss Kagaya, Passerby Heroines, and Spring Things. So the next volume should try to lean towards everyday style. You can read the 2 chapters first, and if you think it's okay, just give face and continue to subscribe. Of course it doesn't matter if you don't like it, let's see you in the next book. By the way, the protagonist in the next volume has a daughter. The kind of deer. Chapter 203 The best way to let others know that you have a husband, first more seeking subscription. In this world, there is a legend. It is rumored that during the time of the magician, even a long time ago, there was a battle called Twilight of the Gods. The endless demon gods and angels unite in the same camp, facing an alien soul that no one knows. Rumor has it that the battle of Dark Gods cost the lives of all the demon gods, angels and saints of the ancient times. Finally, the mysterious world invader was defeated. And when that man fell, the whole world was on the verge of doomsday. It symbolizes the coming of the end. In the end, countless years passed, and time came to around 1900. For unknown reasons, the world finally recovered from the chaos of destruction. No one knows, that year. The man who was defeated by countless demons, angels, and saints in the battle of Twilight of the Gods. His reawakening made the world that had fallen into chaos because of him gradually return to normal. What a hardy battle. I didn't expect that I would almost play off one day. Shigwo clung to his upper body, and the man who exuded the ethereal aura that was not like 10 humans touched the sweat stains on his face. No, that's not sweat, that's water stains from sticks. But when I entered this world, I was under siege, but the 1 or 2 gates of the underworld could entrap me. Nearly 100 years have passed. University of London. This luxurious university town, whether it is a building almost 100% made of marble or the fountain in the center of the square, it does not feel like a school, but a high-end hotel. Every 3 to 5, you can see college students walking side by side or reading on a public bench on the side of the road, or having a picnic on the lawn, or doing some shameful things in the small bushes not far away. Who can imagine that 100 years ago, this world was still in chaos like the apocalypse? And it was the school city on the other side of the ocean that established this new world order. Compared with that, this Galau Academy full of extravagant and decadent atmosphere has nothing but the smell of capital that is revealed all the time. Several college boys in groups saw a female college student walking in front of them with books in their arms, and they were instantly attracted by the other's stunning faces. Beige casual women's clothes and black skinny jeans are not particularly conspicuous. But this tight-fitting style outlines her perfect figure vividly. Obviously there are oriental faces, but the pair of weapons is even more exaggerated than 90% of the big Yanmars in this school. Coupled with the quiet and beautiful face of the Eastern culture, it has an unprecedented attraction for Western foreign devils. Masaka Masuzu, this is her name. In the group, a yellow-haired ghost headed by whistling and accosted. Shoo, sweetheart, do you want to come to my birthday party tonight? A lot of people are coming back to participate. Masaka Masuzu stopped when she heard the words, and the corners of her mouth painted with wine rose slightly. Advertisement just when Huang Mao thought that the other party was going to agree to come down and was excited. Just listen to the other party smiling and saying, I'm sorry, I'm already married. The eyeballs of a few ghosts almost fell from their sockets to the ground. Damn, it is too shocking, right? It is impossible for such a beautiful woman to be chased by no one. But at most they thought that the other party had a boyfriend, so they directly threw the blockbuster of marriage. Ahem, it's okay. You can enjoy the single life even after you get married. The party tonight is very hilarious, it's better. Huang Mao still doesn't give up. Westerners are already confused in this regard. What's wrong with marriage? Such a beautiful beauty only needs to enjoy it once, and she will die for one. Seeing that the other party was still not giving up, Masaka Masuzu originally planned to turn around and leave, but suddenly saw a figure walking towards this side. Mischievous, squinted his eyes and smiled lightly. My husband is behind you. Why don't you tell him if you want me to go? Illustration. Your husband? Huang Mao and others turned their heads subconsciously, but didn't panic. I belong to a sports club, and several of them are all stubborn, and they are afraid that each other will fail. It would be even better if it was a little white face, threatening him, maybe he could still get his wife. However, at the moment when a few people turned around, a strong arm stretched towards Huang Mao and directly grabbed his throat. Instant pee-pee. The harsh electric chirping sound, accompanied by the terrifying thunder light, spread to a few friends beside the other party in less than half a second. Those who can. The faces of other students around the campus square were full of shock. The capable, a concept proposed by the Academy City on the other side of the ocean at this time, divided into the incompetent, level 0, the low power, level 1, the super powered, level 12, the strong powered, level 3, the high powered, level 4, and the super powered, level 5. Generally speaking, all those who have the ability to go to the stage are placed in Academy City. You can actually see it in such a place. Is my wife good looking? Compared to the Naruto World period, the hair has become longer, and Yèyuè Guāng, who feels a bit like the big back of Shinigami, World Boss Aizen Sosuke, pulled the yellow hair in front of him and asked with a smile. Huang Mao screamed screamingly, stimulated by thunder and lightning. Even for Yèyuè Guāng, an electric current that is so weak that it can't even count as static electricity is extremely painful for the incapacitated. Advertisement. Does it look good? Yèyuè Guāng increased the power of a volt, and the opponent's skin had become as dark as coal, and he asked twice in a death-threatening tone. Didn't hear? It seems that ears are not needed anymore. Feeling the electric current pouring into my ears to make a fuss, Huang Mao peed his pants in fright, and barely spit out 3 words under the pressure of death. No, it's not good looking. It looks like you were blind. There is no need to keep it. Puff. The sound of something exploded. Under the full gaze of other college students around, Huang Mao's eyes turned into blood mist and exploded. It caused countless students to scream. Does it look good? A handful of 300 flung the yellow hair to the other side, and reached out to hold Masaka Miran's slender waist. Yèyuè Guāng smiled and asked the other ghosts. Okay, good looking. With the lessons learned just now, a few miscellaneous hairs practiced and gave the opposite answer. Is that what you can see? Yèyuè Guāng suddenly raised his voice, as if a few people with self-awareness screamed again and again. And no one around dared to come up and stop. Beat people like this again. Masaka Masuzu felt helpless, but did not say much. Compared to before, my husband is already very restrained. You know, there was a guy who dared to harass him before. Yèyuè Guāng directly killed him with thunder. After getting married, I told Yèyuè Guāng to change his style. I suddenly thought of a good way to let others know that you have a husband. Yèyuè Guāng suddenly stuck to Masaka Mailing's ear. Under the confused gaze of the other party, he smirked and said, "Make your belly bigger." Masaka Mailing blushed. Before she responded, she was picked up by Princess Yèyuè Guāng and walked to the Star Hotel opposite the university gate. P.S. At the beginning of the new volume, the author will try a different daily style. If everyone thinks it is okay, please continue to subscribe. It doesn't matter if you don't like it. By the way, the author only watched the animation of super electromagnetic guns, and has not read a word of the original light novel. Please be merciful to the original book and just take a look at it. I am grateful. Chapter 204. The daughter is named Yii Mikoto, second more seeking subscription. Boom. After the exercise, Masaka Miran suddenly turned blue and retched. Ask her why she doesn't run to the bathroom. Because she doesn't have the strength to move her fingers now. Mailing, are you? Yèyuè Guāng has just arrived vaguely. This is what you wished. The belly is really getting bigger. Masaka Masuzu gave him a hard blow. King London Hospital. The top medical teams are all aimed at members of the British royal family. But with some special methods used by the Master Yi, at this moment these arrogant old things are accustomed to them. One of the two with blue noses and swollen faces holding the diagnosis sheet, with a smile that was even more ugly than crying, and said to Yèyuè Guāng and Masaka Miran, who was sitting next to him, with signs of slight bulging in his lower abdomen. Zun, respectable Mr. Yèyuè, it is already certain that Mrs. Zun is pregnant with a girl. Girl, Yèyuè Guāng said to himself. Masaka Masuzu suddenly stretched out. Doesn't her husband dislike girls? After all, Eastern countries, whether Neon or China, generally have a patriarchal ideology. Mailing, our daughter is Khalid Mikoto, okay? Yèyuè Guāng bowed her waist and asked before Yusaka Mailing's forehead. Masaka Masuzu was taken aback for a moment, and 2 seconds later, the original worries on her face disappeared without a trace. After a heavy, he wrapped his hands around Yèyuè Guāng's neck and took the initiative to bite him. A few old people in white coats just saw Masaka Masuzu's movements, and they hurriedly got out. Yesterday their hospital originally refused to give a woman of ordinary origin, Masaka Masuzu, a pregnancy test. As a result, Yèyuè Guāng invited Yèyuè Guāng to travel before Gimengguan. It hurts and carrot. Outside the operating room, Yèyuè Guāng, who was sitting on the bench in the corridor, heard the voice of his wife inside. A group of very high-status doctors behind them kept taking out handkerchiefs to wipe the sweat stains from their foreheads. Advertisement. Although it is equipped with the most famous female doctors in Britain, as long as it is an operation, no famous doctor dares to say that he can be 100% successful. Perhaps only the existence known as the Soul Chaser in the underworld can do it. Wow! Suddenly the cry of the baby came from the operating room, which made Yèyuè Guāng pop to stand up from the bench and open the operating door without saying a word. Mr. Yèyuè, please, don't worry, mother and daughter are safe. The female doctors and nurses who were still wearing masks were taken aback, but when they saw Yèyuè Guāng came in, they did not dare to reprimand. Yèyuè Guāng strode to the side of his beloved wife, reached out his hand to wipe the sweat from her delicate face, and looked at the little life on the side of her face, with a rare smile from the heart. The same hair color as you. The almost collapsed Masaka Mireyu reluctantly turned her head and looked at her crying daughter next to her, and found a blue light flashing between her eyes, and she struggled to show a wholly maternal smile. The eyes are inherited from you. Pila. Suddenly, an electric arc flashed across Makoto's body, who was howling and crying. Yèyuè Guāng saw this and quickly picked him up, stepped on his daughter's forehead, and chuckled. It seems that the inheritance is not only the pupil color. Is the blood of God so good? Illustration. A few minutes later, that night, Makoto fell asleep. Yèyuè Guāng leaned his face against the crib and praised happily. As expected of my daughter, Masaka Masuzu on the other side stretched out her hand and twisted the other side's waist. After giving birth to a child, I don't even care about my old mother. Yèyuè Guāng helplessly rubbed the pinched area, turned around and leaned down, preparing to kiss him. Just as Masaka Masuzu was preparing to respond, wow! Yèyuè Makoto's energetic howling sounded again. Yèyuè Guāng. Masaka Masuzu. This kid really doesn't understand the atmosphere. Advertisement. You have no job. Where did you get such a big house? Looking at this kind of mansion that started with a value of at least $100 million, Masaka Masuzu's eyes widened after her confinement, and she looked at her husband who was holding a full moon daughter next to her inconceivably. There are always more methods than problems, so you can live with peace of mind. Yèyuè Guāng embraced his daughter with his left hand, then pushed his wife into the house with his right hand. Masaka Masuzu was extremely helpless, thinking that she had used shameful means again. Was he already in love with this idle prodigal son in the first place? It's just that this guy always talks like, I've been used to working hard in my previous life, and enjoy it in this life. What is even more annoying is that I still believed it. Wow, the quiet time of a newborn baby will never exceed 2 hours. As soon as he entered the house, Yèyuè Makoto started fluttering again. It should be hungry and the diaper is dry. Yèyuè Guāng is very skilled at handing her daughter to his wife. Masaka Mizuo. Good, unschedulally unbuttoned her collar and... I think this smell is fishy and bland. Does she really like it? Yèyuè Guāng asked with blinking eyes. Roll. Masaka Mireyu, who hasn't exploded in foul language for several years, couldn't help but break the defense. You drank so much the last 2 days. Grab it with your daughter. Rui kicked Yèyuè Guāng's calf on the high heels under Masaka Miring's feet. P.S. Masaka Mireyu and Hinata are both 91E. When I knew about this, I felt fateful. The author just watched the super electromagnetic gun animation and didn't finish it. Please lightly spray the original novel party. I don't know what it can be written. But I have always been writing about migrant workers. This new type has not been written yet. I hope you can understand. Skin. Chapter 205 Don't Poke Mother, second more seeking subscription. Ming. Wow, the baby's cry echoed in a room full of childishness and strong girlish taste. All kinds of dolls, carts, and fairy tale books around. It can be said that as long as the little girls like things, this room is comparable to the size of a basketball court. You can imagine how much the owner's parents doted on her. And in the center of the room, a little girl about 3 years old was holding a frog puppet at the moment, and the big golden beans kept falling from both sides of her eye sockets. The skin of the left ear of the puppet broke open, and piles of cotton overflowed from it. Presumably this is why the girl is crying. Da da da. A rush of footsteps echoed on the floor of the villa, and Masaka Masuzu, who was only in her 20s, hurried to her daughter's side from outside the room. I feel that since I fell in love with Yèyuè Guāng, her appearance has not changed in any way. Masaka Masuzu is very confident about this. After all, she spends a lot of money on maintenance. If there is a third person at the scene, after seeing the big small couple, they can definitely be judged immediately that they are a mother-child relationship. It looks so alike. 300 The T Sorrel has a shoulder length and smooth top hair, and it is exquisite and good for facial features with a similarity of more than 90%. If you insist on telling the difference, I am afraid that only the mother's temperament is a thick, mature woman. The girl exudes the unique childishness of a child, and there is a baby's unique blush on both sides of the cheek. It looks very cute. Makoto, what's wrong? When Masaka Masuzu rushed over, her clothes were a little messy. Especially the lipstick used for drinking, slanted away from the corner, as if it had been rubbed by something. But Makoto, who was howling and crying, didn't notice the strangeness of his mother and the strange smell in his mouth. Ming. Yuzuki Makoto wiped the golden beans with her left hand, placed the puppet in front of Masaka Miri with her right hand, and sobbed. Mr. Gutai, Mr. Gutai, is the toad broken? Dad will buy you a new one, okay? Yèyuè Guāng also walked in from outside the room at this time. Yèyuè Mikoto didn't care at all about his father's move of lifting his pants when he entered the door. Cheeks that are more delicate than jelly flushed with anger and shouted. Mr. Gutai is not a toad. Oh, Duo-sang is the most annoying. Advertisement, good, it's my father's fault. Yèyuè Guāng squatted by Mikoto's bed and apologized insincerely. Humph. Mikoto's cheeks bulged like a quack, so she turned her blush little face to the other side, not looking at Yèyuè Guāng. Mikoto, be good, go to bed early, Mom promises you, tomorrow Mr. Gutai will be fine. Masaka Mailing whitened Yèyuè Guāng and hugged Mikoto onto the cot. Really, will Santa Claus come to heal him? Mikoto asked, his eyes lit up. Yèyuè Guāng, is there something wrong with your own education method? Masaka Miran embroidered her eyebrows and couldn't help but twitch secretly voicing in her heart. Return to Santa. It's spring. But even so, Masaka Mireyu nodded on the surface. Well, my mother assures you that if you come together tomorrow, Santa will cure Mr. Keita. Hearing her mother's repeated assurances, Mikoto smiled and fell asleep obediently. Masaka Mireyu picked up the frog puppet with one ear dropped, took out the needle and thread, and started to sew. Wife, I feel uncomfortable. Yèyuè Guāng put his arm around Masaka Mire's shoulder with one hand and pressed it to her ear. Masaka Mireyu scratched him hard, but it is understandable. After all, it was a critical juncture just now, this dead ghost has not. Wait. Masaka Mireyu spit out 2 words in a huff. 2 minutes later, Masaka Masuzu pulled off her button and the burger was clamped. Baffa. Woo. In the middle of the night, Mikoto woke up from bursts of crying and laughing sounds. Coupled with the eagerness from below her belly, she was prompted to climb down the crib and walk towards the living room. When she saw the frog puppet that had been repaired sitting on the sofa, she suddenly rushed over and picked it up with excitement, jumping and shouting. Great, Santa Claus really cured Mr. Gutai. Mother. Advertisement. There was another cry that could not tell whether it was crying or laughing. Mikoto vaguely heard that it was his mother's voice, and walked towards the master bedroom along the area where the sound came from. Oh, Duo-sang is the most annoying. Mom tends cooks and washes for you. You even stabbed Mom with a stick. At breakfast the next day, Mikoto held the Gutai puppet in his left hand, and pointed Yèyuè Guāng with his right hand and snorted. Puff. Yèyuè Guāng almost spewed a sip of coffee. Masaka Masuzu, who came over with the toast and fried eggs, also shuddered, and the dinner plate in her hand was about to fall to the ground. Yèyuè Guāng flicked his right hand and an electric arc passed. It seemed that an invisible big hand held up the dinner plate that was about to fall to the ground and placed it on the table. Mikoto, what are you talking about, Dad? When did Dad poke Mom? Even with Masaka Masuzu's character, she was ashamed and dying at this moment, wishing to find a hole in it. I saw it yesterday. Oh, Duo-sang kept stabbing her mother, beat you to death. Yèyuè Mikoto's little cowardice, the fan fist kept pounding on Yèyuè Guāng, with a force smaller than a mosquito bite. Masaka Mireyu entered the Hinata mode, her blushing pre-face faintly began to emit steam and her heart cursed Yèyuè Guāng more than 108,000 times, this B***************. Don't know how to lock the door. Yèyuè Guāng picked up Mikoto and sat up with him, and said helplessly. Good, it's all my father's fault, then Dusan is not allowed to stab his mother in the future. Mikoto was indignant. Yèyuè Guāng, I can't promise you this. Are you forcing your dad to find an ad for you? In the end, Yèyuè Guāng finally used Mikoto's latest pajamas to divert this Nizi's attention. Alas, children are just cheating. I don't know which B**********D will be F***** ed in the future. After damn it, whoever dares to approach his little padded jacket, he must kill him. Chapter 206 Want to be independent Yèyuè Mikoto, second more seeking subscription. School City 5th School District, the Garden of Schools. The campus shared by the 5 aristocratic girls' schools in Gakuen City. Usually superpower development equipment is manufactured here. At the same time, the special courses of the 5 aristocratic girls' academies are also held here from time to time. And the place to test the superpower level of female noble students is often carried out here. Boom. Record. The muzzle velocity of the shell about 1030 meters per second. Burst speed -8 rounds, 1 second, impact distribution 18.9 millimeters. Overview. In the test site, the deafening thunder and vibrations lasted for a long time before finally stopping. The female tester in a white lab coat looked at the value on the precision meter, and then looked towards the center of the field. With coins dangling in the palm of her right hand, she is a cute girl who is only 6 years old. After swallowing saliva, his voice trembled and said, LV5, superpower. As soon as the superpower evaluation result came out, the whole schoolyard was in an uproar. A 5-year-old girl actually stood at the top of the school city. Yèyuè Mikoto. Open black lens bracket railgun close black lens bracket. This name will surely resound throughout the school city in a very short time. Eduozen, Okasan. After finishing the elementary school superpower test, Yèyuè Mikoto just walked out the school gate, and saw a couple of men and women standing at the school gate waiting for him. Cheering and cheering, he quickly trod up and threw himself into the arms of the opponent. It looks like, When I saw the mother and child, the pupils around and the parents who came to pick up the children all had the same thoughts. And noticed that the eyes of the man holding the girl were clear. Everyone thought to themselves, the face inherits the mother, and the eyes inherit the father. The eyes of all the men who looked at Yèyuè Guāng were full of jealousy. At the same time, she has such a beautiful wife and a lovely woman with LV5 superpower. Damn life winner, do you really want to choose here? Masaka Mireyu looked at her husband and daughter with a worried look, and Nuzi said. The school here is boarding, isn't it? Advertisement. In other words, I can't see my daughter for at least a week, which is unacceptable for Masaka Masuzu. This is Makoto's own decision, she will do as much as she wants. Yèyuè Guāng hugged his daughter Kaido, but 2 seconds later he cast a curious look at Makoto in his arms and asked. But why do you want to live on campus? Are you unhappy with mom and dad? Makoto didn't answer, but turned her reddish face to the other side. I'm so embarrassed to ask, also, it's not that the two of you who fight and quarrel every night can't sleep. Of course, this is only one of the reasons. Although only 6 years old, Makoto Yezuki's mind is quite mature. She found out when she was in kindergarten, but there are things that don't go well with you or people who are unfriendly. Whether it was a teacher with poor morality or a little boy who bullied himself, they disappeared without a trace the next day. At first, Yezuki Makoto didn't take it to heart, illustration. But with the passage of time, especially after the full awakening ability, father began to teach her how to use abilities. Makoto vaguely realized that behind her smooth life, who has been silently guarding her. Although I feel the warm and strong fatherly love. But this heavy fatherly love, like a mountain, made Yèyuè Makoto a little breathless. Because my father's acting style is too direct. Even his mother Masaka Mireyu often told herself that something went wrong at school. Go home and tell mom directly, don't tell dad. At that moment, Makoto knew. Dad helped me solve the things I didn't like and the people I didn't like. Moreover, the method is very likely to be the kind of invisible type. Although he still loves his father, Makoto, who was born with a strong sense of justice, decided to solve the problem on his own. Instead of relying on the power of the father ignorantly. That night, it was the last night that Yezuki Makoto enrolled in elementary school. Yèyuè Guāng and Masaka Masuzu held a celebration party for her. And after a carnival, Yezuki Makoto fell asleep. The way Yèyuè Guāng pushed her daughter's bedroom away. She stretched out her hand with pity and affection on her daughter's side face. After a few seconds, his right hand was slightly raised. A holy light overflowed from the palm, forming the outline of a sword. That is advertisement -0 seeking flowers, 0 Olympus Excalibur. In less than a second, the divine sword turned into a holy light and merged into Makoto's body. Yèyuè Guāng swung his daughter's forehead, then turned and left the room. After returning to the living room, Yèyuè Guāng and Masaka Mireyu, who had experienced the itch for 7 years. Compared to love and the sweetness of the newlyweds, it seems much more peaceful now. This is a common problem for most couples, and even God can hardly avoid it. But even so, after the husband came out, Masaka Mailing took the initiative to greet her, and Ching Wen took her husband's profile. Are you angry with me? Yèyuè Guāng asked with a smile. You are a B**********, D, but who told me to like it? Masaka Masuzu stood on tiptoe and kissed him again. Not long ago, when Yèyuè Makoto was still attending the noble kindergarten, he was taught to cry by the music teacher because he forgot to learn the violin. 0. After crying and returning home, Yèyuè Guāng and his wife asked about the result after sensing the strangeness of their daughter. According to Yèyuè Guāng's consistent style, one can imagine what the end of that teacher is. And when Masaka Masuzu learned about this, she was going to find the other party for theory the next day. As soon as I arrived at school, I found out, a corpse is hung at the top of the correction gate. According to the discussions of other fearful parents and teachers around, Masaka Mireyu knew that this person was the music teacher who taught her daughter to cry yesterday. Even thinking with toes, Masaka Masuzu knew who did it. Even if the other party had made a mistake in this matter, Masaka Mireyu felt that her husband had done too much. And Yèyuè Guāng has no regrets about this. Although the husband and wife will not have a big quarrel, they did have a Cold War for a long time. To this day, the end of the Cold War is finally declared by Masaka Miru's soft service. A few days later, a message resounded throughout the school city. The new LV5, nicknamed Super Electromagnetic Gun, the youngest superpower in history, was born. Illustration PS. In the last chapter, please wait a minute. The new book drives faster, after all, there are a lot of super beautiful women. This music teacher incident was taken from the author's personal experience, and it was not scolded, but was kicked by Rui, which is still fresh in my memory. By the way, readers, is Kun married? And, Chapter 207, The Enemy, Super Electromagnetic Guns and Psychological Control, first more seeking subscription. Hey, have you heard? New students enrolled this year? I heard that, in Tokiwadai, there are 2 of the only 7 LV5s in Academy City. Right. The 2nd-ranked, Super Electromagnetic Gun, and the 5th-ranked, Psychological Control, right? It's amazing, it's Tokiwadai, it's great that I can enroll in this school. It's worthy of being a prestigious school that is the lowest and must be LV3 to enroll. 7 years later, Gakuen City, Tokiwadai Middle School. It is one of the 5 noble girls' schools in Academy City, and it is also the only middle school in the world. The entire academy occupies a very large area, is a super elite school with European aristocratic style, and the number of students does not exceed 200. With the end of the summer vacation, the new school year is about to enter, and a large number of freshmen are pouring into the campus. And at the core of their discussion, there is no doubt that there are two LV5303 variables: super electromagnetic gun, and psychological control. Freshman girls with an average age of only 12 or 13 years old walked into the campus full of youthful vigor. What, just as the freshman entrance ceremony is about to begin? An electric arc passed over Tokiwadai Middle School, making countless freshmen look stagnant. Even the worst of Tokiwadai students is at least at the LV3 level, but no one can see the true face of the Thunder Light. If you slow down the picture hundreds of times, no, thousands of times, you might still get a glimpse of the tip of the iceberg. It was a girl with chestnut brown hair and short shoulder-length hair, exquisite and lovely features, yet exuding a touch of heroism. The delicate cheeks puffed out like a little frog, and the little mouth was angrily toothed. She said, "Really, this idiot Dosen. There are only 7 LV5 second place in Academy City. Open black lens bracket super electromagnetic gun close black lens bracket Yuzuki Mikoto." After an indignant complaint, Yèyuè Mikoto turned into an electric light, piercing the sky above the clouds. Even sharper than the eagle's eyes looked down, searched for the figure in the memory, and murmured full of resentment. "Is such a big person still lost? That school uniform is Tokiwadai, right?" In the corner of the Academy City, there is a man with white hair on his back and his facial features like a marble sculpture made by Michelangelo, surrounded by young people who fall to the ground in convulsions in pain. The man turned his head to look at the Shibi junior high school girl and asked, "I'm not interested in knowing why these little ghosts attacked you, but can I trouble you to take me to that school?" Compared with the face of a man, it is even more fascinating, and it is the eyes. Advertisement. How to describe it? Looking at the man's Tokiwadai, another LV5, psychological control, the bee-eater's eyes were tightly fixed on the man's eyes. God. The bee-eater does not know why. When I saw the man's eyes, the word subconsciously appeared in his mind. The group of young people who fell at the feet of men came from an organization called Dedoraku, which was composed of many capable people who were unable to further develop their abilities for unknown reasons. To put it simply, it means to blame the antisocial elements on other people for being unable to evolve their abilities further. As for why this organization chased itself down, the bee-eater had a good idea. Originally, with his own LV5 strength, naturally there is no need to fear that the highest strength of this group can't get into the LV4. However, the opponent is clearly prepared, and the equipment number has a helmet with the ability to resist spirits. Let the bee-eater exercises a big loss and risk being caught. In the final moment, he was saved by the man in front of him who was described as a god by the bee-eater. And this person is naturally Yèyuè Guāng. The reason why he rescued the bee-eater was also very simple, because the other party was wearing Tokiwadai, which is the same school uniform as his daughter. But this girl is really a junior high school student like Mikoto? Insert he. Although I have seen and even tasted countless women a long time ago, Yèyuè Guāng couldn't help but glance at the bee-eater. The golden waist-length hair and the fragrance of perfume tell her taste of aristocratic lady. The delicate and perfect face, coupled with the pair of star eyes, is the icing on the cake. What's more terrifying is the pair of chariots that are hard to conceal and make people have to doubt her age. When I met Mikoto last year, the girl hadn't grown up at all. She was very uncomfortable compared to the girl in front of me. Mikoto. Hearing the name in the man's mouth, the bee-eater frowned slightly, her dead opponent's face and the airport appeared in her mind. Did you mean? The bee-eater has just said so. The lazu that made her feel familiar suddenly fell, and at the same time, it can be said that the most annoying shadow of the bee-eater jumped out of it. Angrily rushed to the man and shouted, "Yèyuè-san, don't you know how to read a map? You are such a big person, do you have to pick up your own daughter? Generally speaking, it should be the other way around, right?" Edo-sang. Advertisement. The bee-eater prays that the stars are staring. Father and daughter, these two people. Okay, it's my father's fault. Come, good girl, hug, kiss. Yèyuè Guāng hugged Mikoto into his arms, and kissed the other half of her forehead exposed by the side of her bangs. Edo-sang. It's shameful. Yèyuè Mikoto blushed like a kettle, pushing the opponent hard. It's really not frank, this is really unlike your mother. When we were in love, she took the initiative to kiss me. Yèyuè Guāng vomited. Who cares, I'm not interested in listening to your previous shame stories. Mikoto shouted in shame. The sound of fighting every night between his father Yèyuè Guāng and his mother Masaka Masuzu is completely the shadow of her childhood. Is it good? Allah. At this time, the bee-eater prayed together, his hands folded behind his back, and he bowed his waist playfully, and said with a smile. Mikoto, who is usually majestic at school, turned out to be a good daughter who likes to behave like a baby with Dad 5.0. Bee-eater F******** G pray. Seeing the other person, Mikoto instantly let out a scream like a chicken. To die. It happens that the most annoying person sees the most undesirable picture. Is it Mikoto's friend? I am her father Yèyuè Guāng, please advise. Yèyuè Guāng determined that this star-eyed girl was Mikoto's classmate. But this is too exaggerated. Yèyuè Guāng roughly judged the moment when the opponent bowed. Compared to Hinata, Mei Ling is slightly inferior. But considering age reasons, There is a great possibility of surpassing in the future. No, no, however, as soon as Yèyuè Guāng said this, neither Makoto nor the bee-eater dismissed them with a trace of face. Chapter 208 The only male teacher in Tokiwadai, second more seeking subscription. Teacher. On the way back to Tokiwadai together, I heard from Yèyuè Guāng about his purpose of coming to Academy City. Whether it is bee-eater analysis or as a daughter Makoto, her mouth grows wide in surprise. After a while, the bee-eater glared at the stars and said in disbelief. Open, are you kidding? Tokiwadai Junior High School is a girls' school. Girls' schools refer to female students, and there is no stipulation that teachers must also be female. Yèyuè Guāng stood up against the moon, with an expression of, I am reasonable. The bee-eater is quite speechless, but it is irrefutable for a while. But male teachers will be recruited, which is probably the first case in Tokiwadai history. By the way, Dosen, where's mother? Did you leave her in London alone? Makoto suddenly thought of his inconspicuous mother and couldn't help asking with some worry. Okay, her parents don't feel very reliable anymore. Don't mention it, coming to Academy City is just another quarrel with mailing. Yèyuè Guāng shrugged helplessly. Huh, what's the matter? Strictly 10 is not serious. Hearing that his parents were quarreling, Makoto was suddenly extremely worried. Didn't your mother retake the adult college entrance examination and enter the university recently? Just like when there was no you, another group of little ghosts asked her to take the mountain. Yèyuè Guāng curled his lips. Hearing this, Makoto was also quite speechless. His mother was in her 30s and she had a face in her 20s. Although dad is the same. Yes, then what? Yèyuè Makoto bit her scalp and asked again, but thinking about her father's behavior style, she already guessed 8 points. Yèyuè Guāng did not answer at the first moment, and after being silent for about 3 seconds, he smiled and said. Guess, I don't want to guess. Makoto gave the unreliable old man annoyed and glanced at the girl's little fan. In short, Shuiyuan City has its own rules, Eduosang, you can't mess around like before. Try to, Yèyuè Guāng gave an ambiguous answer, advertisement. Can't try, must promise, Makoto frowned. She knows her father's style very well. She chose a girls' school for this reason. If Yèyuè Guāng knows that there is a boy close to him, Makoto promises that she will hear the news that the boy has not come to school the next day. And forever. Don't talk about how to become a teacher, why does Dasong want to be a teacher? Makoto thought of another question and asked curiously. She has a memory since hitting her, I never saw my father work. Looking back now, I can't help but feel strange, where does all the money in the family come from? Isn't it because Mailing said all day that I was idle and had nothing to do, and told me to find something to do? So I found a working environment close to my baby girl. Yèyuè Guāng sighed. Unlucky, the previous life has been hard enough, but it's really hard to have to work in this life. Yèyuè Makoto's eyes flickered from a thin slit, spitting out. It has appeared, Eduosang's theory of past and present life. Do you read more comics? Is Mr. Light also a capable person? The bee-eater, who finally found the opportunity to intervene, put the jade finger with white lace gloves on the pink wine, and the girl asked with a feeling of fullness. Generally speaking, the awakening ability needs to go through the unique brain development and ability test of the school city. But people who are naturally capable are not without them. I feel the breath of aristocratic lady who is totally incompatible with her daughter's careless temperament. Yèyuè Guāng figured out why the two were so uncomfortable. Anyone with the ability? Take it as it is. Yèyuè Guāng raised his hand and rubbed the bee-eater's little head, which was so supple. Eduosang. Be careful, don't be controlled by this woman's abilities. Seeing Yèyuè Guāng make actions to his opponent that he would only do to himself, Makoto felt uncomfortable. Ah, is the difficulty of classmate Yèyuè jealous? The bee-eater started to be mischievous, and suddenly the left arm of Yèyuè Guāng was living upstairs and smiled. Is it so good? Advertisement. Yèyuè Guāng lowered his head and glanced calmly. You, what are you talking about? How could I, eat? Yèyuè Makoto stepped on her little feet shyly and angrily, unable to say the last word for a long time. Tsunere as always. Yèyuè Guāng was funny in his heart, and took the initiative to separate his hand from the bee-eater's burger, holding Makoto's profile face in his right hand, and comforted. Relax, Dosen's favorite is always Makoto. Who cares? Please don't say such nasty things in the future. Makoto turned around fiercely and ignored Yèyuè Guāng. But the corners of the mouth facing the two people's faces turned up unconsciously. Bee-eater exercise prayer. Why is standing next to the father and daughter? I have the illusion of being stuffed with dog food. The 7th district of Academy City, Tokiwadai Middle School. There are only less than 30 people in a small but very aristocratic classroom. With the name, Yèyuè Guāng, written on the blackboard, the average age of 303 below is about 14 years old, and the youthful little girls burst into uproar. He couldn't help but cast his gaze to Makoto on the left side of the classroom seat. Same surname too. Dear ladies, I am Yèyuè Guāng, and I will be your physical education teacher from today, Yolu Trousers. After writing his name, Yèyuè Guāng turned around and put his hands on the ambience on both sides of the podium, showing a very lethal smile to these young girls who had just begun to love them. The girls blushed, one of them raised his hand and said, what is the relationship between the teacher and classmate Yi Yu? Makoto is my daughter, Yèyuè Guāng said without shy. Eh. The girls stared incredibly, and looked at Yèyuè Mikoto again, exclaiming in an uproar. Mikoto turned her face to the other side in embarrassment, so ashamed. Look carefully, Mikoto's eyes are exactly the same as those of the teacher. The teacher looks so young and handsome, I didn't expect my daughter to be so old. To be the first male teacher since the founding of Tokiwadai School, the teacher must also be a capable person? And it's a very powerful one? I don't know, my parents are incapable anyway. Chapter 209 Shirai Kuroko, Sister Sama's father. Student Shirai, that is, in Tokiwadai's first grade classroom, Wanuchi Kinbo, who is an LV3 ability, water flow operation, whispered to Shirai Kuroko sitting in the front row. What? Following the look in Wane Suubao's eyes, she looked out through the window. Baijing Haitsi saw the shadow she had so longed for, and let out a weird dark laugh. Guii, sister, the classmates who were sitting next to Shirai Kuroko in Wane Suubao couldn't help showing a wry smile. Shirai Kuroko has such a terrible feeling for Yèyuè Mikoto, and it can even be said that they have some feelings about that, and they have also heard about it. The first-year students, such as Wane Jubao and Paofu Wanbin, turned their heads and looked out the window involuntarily. The second-year students headed by Yèyuè Mikoto put on sportswear, which is undoubtedly a physical education class. But what shocked them was that the man standing in front of the second grade was actually a man. Huh? Why is there a man next to my sister? Heiko Shirai obviously noticed this too, and jumped up from his seat. He screamed, and immediately attracted the attention of the whole class. Haitsi, what are you doing? The young female lecturer on the podium twisted her eyebrows. That, Baijing Kuroko's face covered with shame. Even if Shirai Kuroko's presence in Tokiwadai is almost second only to Mikoto Yuzuki and Mikoto the Bee-Eater. But teachers are born with a strong ability to inhibit students, not to mention that Baijing Haitsi is just a 13-year-old girl. Finally, for Yèyuè Mikoto's pervert understanding, he defeated the fear of the teacher, and pointed to the playground outside the window and asked. Old teacher, that's following the direction of Shirai Kuroko's finger. The other girls in the first grade classroom also turned their eyes to look out of the window. It was discovered that the leader of the second grade was actually a male teacher, and they couldn't help exclaiming. Then, who is that? The new teacher? Male. However, I feel so handsome, it's so tall, it's the type one like. Seeing the classroom fell into chaos, the female teacher on the podium rubbed her temples with a headache, and had to explain. The new teacher Yèyuè Guāng is the father of Mikoto Yèyuè. Father. Advertisement. These two words are like a heavy bomb dropped into the calm lake. The whole classroom was exploded in an instant, and Baijing Haitsi, who was originally hostile to Yèyuè Guāng. After hearing the identity of Yèyuè Guāng, when looking at Yèyuè Guāng, it seemed to see the brilliance of the holy light emerging from behind. Sister's father, sister also, in other words, as long as you get him, you can always read with your sister, hey. Student Shirai, can you please stop making that kind of laughter? The crying and laughing of the nearby Wane Suuyao suddenly interrupted Shirai Kuroko's lust. What? Baijing Haitsi suddenly recovered, wiped the purple-horned Hirazi, and woke up. Difficult, did I just tell what I was thinking about? The other girls in the classroom were speechless, but they got used to it. By the way, what does everyone do in physical education? Yèyuè Guāng raised his eyebrows and asked after bringing the young girl in sportswear including his daughter to the playground. By the way, don't neon girls always wear sports shorts like fat times in gym class? Illustration. Although it is not bad for the type that exposes more than 80% of the lower half of the area. The girls were in an uproar as soon as the problem came up. How can a teacher ask students how to go to class? Eduo-san, are you really okay? Mikoto looked tangled. Although the dad who has been idle for more than 10 years has found a serious business, she should be happy. But it still feels awkward. How did the school allow him to come in as a teacher? In the end, a girl with elegant temperament stepped forward to explain the affairs of Tokiwadai girls' physical education class to Yèyuè Guāng. Spray, it feels no different from ordinary lil ghosts. The most basic foundation is the ability of LV3. I thought you would have more intense activities in physical education. Yèyuè Guāng couldn't help feeling bored when he heard that the physical education curriculum of Tokiwadai students was not much different from that of his previous life. But as long as Yèyuè Guāng understands a little bit about the development methods of this world-capable person, he can understand. Ability development is not just physical exercise. More is aimed at the development of the brain or stimulation to achieve. And many abilities are not suitable for combat. Therefore, the ability development is naturally very different from what he had imagined before. Advertisement. Eduo-san, are you really okay? Mikoto became more worried. Bang! Yèyuè Guāng lifted the index finger of his right hand and tapped it on the little head of his daughter. Under the other party's aggrieved expression. When is it your turn to worry about me? Did you forget it when you were 5 years old? Ahei, not allowed to be said. Seeing that Yèyuè Guāng was about to explode his dark history, Mikoto hurriedly jumped up and tried his best to plug the mouth of his dead ghost father with his hands. It took another half a minute to subdue Tsunere's cannon. Yèyuè Guāng pressed his blushing daughter's little head with his left hand, raised his index finger with his right hand, and said to the girls. Now start to comprehensively reform your teaching system. I will teach you nothing. I will teach you to fight. Fighting? The girls looked at each other. Although they are at least LV3 strong, but not all of them are good at fighting. Judging the level of a capable person is not only about its destructive power. There are also many aspects such as practicability, commercial value, and value creation. Good. By the way, is the teacher a capable person? At this time, another girl asked everyone the same question. Although they do not discriminate against the incompetent or even the incompetent. But if Yèyuè Guāng is not a capable person, he still can't help but wonder, can the other party really teach himself well? Yeah, too. After thinking for a while, Yèyuè Guāng released his big hand from his daughter's head. Makoto, let me see how much you have improved in the past 7 years. The embarrassed Yèyuè Makoto immediately became energetic when he heard this, and his competitive character was aroused. He recalled the experience of being beaten on the ground by his dad when he was a child. The feeling of revenge that keeps pouring from the bottom of my heart is constantly rising. Is it okay? Oh Dusan, I am pregnant differently than I was 7 years ago? A wispy electric arc emerged around Makoto's body, and an ear-piercing electric humming sounded. Chapter 210 Your father will always be your father. When Yèyuè Guāng made Yèyuè Makoto the subject of trial, the response was not small. Although everyone already knows that they are in a father-daughter relationship, it is normal for Yèyuè Guāng to be selfish. But Yuzuki Makoto is one of only 2 LV5s in Tokiwadai. And it is the second-ranked existence in the entire Academy City. Yèyuè Guāng believes that his daughter can be merciful because of being a father? Is it really okay? Teacher, don't you know, classmate Makoto is ranked 2nd in LV5 in Academy City? That's right, it would be bad in case of injury. And I heard that Yèyuè was LV5 when he was in elementary school. The caring questioning of the girls made Yèyuè Guāng a little bit tickled. He suddenly understood why there are so many neon wolves of trams. Cough. This topic can't be continued, otherwise things will easily happen. But children nowadays are so precocious. Yèyuè Makoto said with one hand on his hips triumphantly. Oh, if Dusan is scared, I can't be merciful. 303. You know, when she first started to develop her abilities when she was a child, she didn't know how many times she was teased by Yèyuè Guāng, and how many times her butt drum was beaten and swollen. After 7 years of hard training, Makoto firmly believes that he will be able to hang up this nasty dad. I haven't fallen to the point where it took 7 full years, not to mention that I haven't reached LV6, and I'm still being merciful under the second child's poor Ru Shaonizi. However, before the last word of Yèyuè Guāng was uttered, an electric arc violently dashed across his face. Slightly raised his eyes to look at the daughter whose head is drooping, and the arc around her body is getting stronger, Yèyuè Guāng grinned and said. Io, my baby girl is angry, do you care about it? Do you want to help you? Death. Yèyuè Makoto's face flushed red, and thunder and lightning erupted with shame and anger, forming a thunder-rushing wave towards Yèyuè Guāng. It's not just the second-year students on the playground. Advertisement in the teaching building, including Baijin Kuroko and Beater FK. Many girls who silently paid attention to this side were shocked. Baffa. What happened? My sister, discharged sister, actually gave such an exaggerated electric shock. However, in the face of the electric current bursting from her daughter, Yèyuè Guāng looked calm and relaxed, turning her back to Makoto and explaining to the other dozen female students. First, I will show you the moves that I will teach you next. First of all, this. Teacher. Makoto's electric shock is coming. The girls looked at the turbulent voltage that was approaching behind Yèyuè Guāng and reminded them silently. However, there was only less than half a centimeter from the back of Yèyuè Guāng's head to the lightning. Yèyuè Guāng shifted his head slightly to the right, causing the lightning to almost touch his ears. The other female students were stunned. Is it impossible for the teacher to grow eyes behind? First of all, it is called seeing and hearing color. It achieves the predictive effect by sensing the breath of the enemy. Just like I didn't need to look just now, I knew that Makoto's electric shock would attack the left side of my brain. Yèyuè Guāng explained with a chuckle. Damn it's dad, face me right. Seeing his father turned his back to him from beginning to end, the temperamental Makoto only felt that he was completely undermined. A large amount of iron sand rose from the crevices on the surface, and gathered in Makoto's hand into a long whip and threw it towards Yèyuè Guāng. This scared the other girls pale. Not to see with eyes, but to perceive through breath. Of course, this requires a certain amount of combat experience, but rest assured, I will slowly teach you from the basics. Yèyuè Guāng talked like a tap dance, stepping sideways, avoiding her daughter's attack with the smallest arc and distance. The girls who looked at had gleaming stars in their eyes. Okay, so handsome, what an elegant way of fighting. Damn it's dad, he's just asking me to play. Advertisement swinging dozens of lashes in a row was Makoto's angrily changing moves, who didn't hit a single shot. Condensing the thunder light on the fingertips, like a blue meteor rushing out. This move is like a hell stab, but it is different. Specifically, Yèyuè Makoto's trick is more pure and simpler. There is no need to gather strength in advance like Third Raikage or Hinata before, and it is reduced by 4 fingers one by one. As the existence of inheriting the blood of Yèyuè Guāng, she can be directly instantaneous. The second trick, armed color, has higher requirements for physical fitness and ability. It is too early for you to learn now, but I will give you a demonstration, although it is for me to play with children's things. In the curious and admiring eyes of the women, Yèyuè Guāng's left hand showed a dark red and black gold color. But the moment when Yèyuè Mikoto turned into a blue shooting star, rushed to the back. Turning his back to the opponent, he grabbed his left hand with the backhand on the slender hand where the thunder broke out. Hyuga Hinata in the teaching building was so scared that he almost fell to the ground. Actually grabbed the elder sister's thunder and lightning stab that can easily pierce a skyscraper. In Yèyuè Mikoto's incredible gaze, Yèyuè Guāng smiled and continued to explain. It can raise the attack and defense of a part of the body to a new height. Although I can catch Mikoto's move without it, it's mainly to show you. The demonstration ends here. Although it is still very weak, Dad still loves you. The color of Yèyuè Guāng's left hand faded. He released the left hand that pinched Mikoto's wrist, and turned to pinch Lil Chong's nose. No road race, me. I haven't lost yet. The red-faced Yèyuè Mikoto yelled with shame and anger, and at the same time suddenly stepped back more than 10 meters, and took out a coin from his sports shorts. Huh. Sister Sama wants to use that in school. That will blow up the playground, right? Bai Jing Hyuga yelled, staring like copper bells. Who taught you this trick, Mikoto? Yèyuè Guāng smiled cheerfully to take out a coin from his slacks. The father and daughter acted exactly the same as if they were separated by a mirror. Chapter 211 The Fleeting Sword Shadow. The father and daughter on the left and the right flicked up the coin with their thumbs, and while the coin was falling, the actions of buckling the tip of the thumb to the center joint of the index finger were exactly the same. It's like two opposite pictures reflected by a mirror. The same ability. The little girls at Tokiwadai Middle School stared at each other. Yèyuè Mikoto's iconic trick, Super Electromagnetic Cannon, of course, they have heard of it, and many people have even witnessed it several times. But unexpectedly, this new teacher, who is also Yèyuè Mikoto's father, would actually do this trick. And judging by the electric light that overflowed between his fingers, he still has the same electric shocker ability as Yèyuè Mikoto. But at the moment when thunder and lightning flooded the father and daughter, the girls discovered the difference again. Daughter Yèyuè Mikoto's thunder and lightning shines even more sharply, like a newly born little lion. No matter what kind of enemy he faces, he will rush to go up. The thunder light of Yèyuè Guāng, as his father, is even more calm. Thunder and lightning in his hands, like a military dog that absolutely obeys orders, calm, but with the absolute strength that can crush all obstacles in front of him from Tongfen. Railgun. Railgun. The father and daughter shouted this word at the same moment. Flick the tip of your thumb, which is clasped on the joint of your index finger, on the falling coin. The high temperature and shock wave of thunder light poured on the coin, and instantly turned into a destructive straight shock wave to attack the opponent. Boom. The two straight lines collided together, and instantly turned into a beam of light that was hundreds of meters high, attracting the attention of everyone in the entire 7th school district. As the #1 fan of Cannon Sister, or pervert follower, Shirai Kuroko Gn Yèyuè Mikoto's electromagnetic cannon was suppressed at a speed visible to the naked eye. Shouted unbelievably, Sister Sama's electromagnetic cannon was suppressed? It's not the time to care about this, right, Shirai-san? Wane Swanbao and other first-year girls shouted with pale faces. The shock wave of the two super electromagnetic guns will spread to the entire school. Other students and faculty members on campus also reacted. Indeed, let this lawless father and daughter continue to quarrel, let alone the playground, the entire school will be blown up. But, who can go up and stop it? What is that? At this moment, in another classroom of the 2nd grade, the star eyes of the bead are keenly caught. Advertisement in the thunder pillar, a little bit of starlight flickered. Although it was only a moment shorter than an instant. But she still vaguely saw it, it seemed, the outline of a sword. Snapped. Suddenly, there was a snap of fingers. Suddenly, there was a large amount of iron sand that was more exaggerated than the skyrocket formed by the collision of the two super electromagnetic guns. Bai Jing Hyuga put his hands on the edge of the window frame, his eyes widened. Sister Sama's magnetic iron sand? But within a second, Shirai Hyuga realized that something was wrong again. My elder sister can't control the iron sand of the same magnitude, so it can only be said. The iron sand is like a chain that binds wild beasts. It disintegrates and eliminates the moment it is wrapped on the surface of the thunder pillar, and returns to the depths of the earth's surface. In the center of the playground, Yèyuè Guāng is holding his right hand alone, touching the tip of his index finger and middle finger. Obviously, the iron sand just now was controlled by him. Although it's a bit tender, in this kind of world, you don't need too much power. Yèyuè Guāng lifted the daughter who had been hit hard by her from the ground, and tapped her forehead lightly with the tip of her index finger. Mikoto woke up suddenly and was extremely unconvinced. Next, I will definitely win next time. Okay, definitely next time. Yèyuè Guāng squeezed her cheeks on both sides, which were smoother than jelly. Ya ant butterfly. What a shame. The red-faced Mikoto flopped his lil hand on Yèyuè Guāng's dog paw. Okay, amazing. Teacher Yi. The dumbfounded 2nd-year girls at the back of the playground also came to their senses one by one, as if they were chasing stars, surrounded Yèyuè Guāng. Cheering and shouting. I actually won Mikoto classmate, and still the same electric shocker ability. Really worthy of being a father and daughter. The teacher is at least the strength of LV5, right? 0 seeking flowers, 0, so we have 3 LV5s into Tokiwadai? So happy? Can we evolve into that too? Advertisement. the teacher is so handsome. Although the body has become a god, Yèyuè Guāng believes that he is still a human from beginning to end. Faced with this feeling of being embraced by the beauty, it is impossible not to be excited. It's a pity that these girls are a little younger, and it will be fine if they rise by 10 years. Teacher Yèyuè, are you making too much noise? An old lady with gray hair and over 60s came over here, interrupting Yèyuè Guāng's conjecture. Teacher Myeonbyeon, Makoto and many female students quickly stood at attention. The old woman in front of me is the most senior teacher in Tokiwa and Taiwan. 0. Yèyuè Guāng looked around in a circle. Although it did not cause any casualties, the originally vast and glamorous playground was also turned into a ruin like a waste recycling station by himself and Makoto. Myeonbyeon sighed and stroked the rimless glasses on the bridge of his nose and said, "Finally, please go to the chairman's room if you have something to ask you." Jingle bell. The moment Myeonbyeon's voice fell, the bell rang after class. Time flies so fast. The last time I taught the little girl was a long time ago. It's not a good time to come once after a long absence. Yèyuè Guāng stretched out quite happily, and the Tokiwa female students around them all worshipped and looked forward to it, and even looked at them with warm and ambiguous eyes. Makoto didn't know why, but he hummed a lot of uncomfortable heart. In the next second, he felt a familiar and warm hand covering his head. Makoto looked up and saw that Yèyuè Guāng was looking at herself with a loving smile, and smiled. "Wait for Dad to come back. I'm not a kid." Makoto, who had another attack of Tsunaria disease, blushed and turned his head to the other side awkwardly. "No, it's just a child." Yèyuè Guāng deliberately moved his eyes down 3 inches. "Where are you looking?" B********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* lightning that overflowed from his body slashed at the B*******************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************